all the makings of an absolute war. The Fordham Rams hit the road for their second straight game to open the month of February. They stampede into D.C. looking to bounce back from back-to-back losses last week at home to Rhode Island and last time out at St. Louis, 59-53 in overtime. After strong starts and multiple streaks throughout the tournament and A-10 play, Fordham is looking to capture that lightning once again. Their opponent comes just as hungry, as the George Washington Revolutionaries are pleading for a lifeline. At 8-13 on the year and just 1-9 in the A-10, George Washington has lost 8 in a row, going winless in the month of January. A win tonight would not only be their second win in conference play, but their very first in the new year of 2025. Pivotal. The only description appropriate for this game. The only word running through these players' heads. From the nation's capital, a game of vengeance and an attempt to set the record straight. The Charles E. Smith Center is live as an absolute A-10 classic is a go, and it's next on WFUV Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you one word: pressure. It either makes diamonds or forces those to fold, and that is the circumstance here in the Charles E. Smith Center, live from Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. The Fordham Rams hope to come in tough. Again, the implications are there for both teams, really. A win, you have your proverbial hand stuck in the road waiting for that proverbial cab to come by in the form of a win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this George Washington team comes into this game on an 8-game skid in conference play. They're definitely looking to turn things around. Fordham, on the other hand, also on a 2-game losing streak, dating back to a home loss against URI and then a loss at St. Louis last time out with us both on the call. So really, this is a huge game for both of these teams, but it's kind of felt like George Washington has been drawing at straws at the start of conference play this season. They've really not been able to get anything done despite getting all of their players into the game most games. So really, it's going to be interesting to see what George Washington can put together in a second matchup against the Fordham Rams today, Madi.
And on the side of Fordham, it's been a very eventful, rather eventful couple of days here. Again, the long road trip after the layoff here. But there's going to be more with head coach Bridgette Mitchell coming at you right now.
Coming to you now live with head coach Bridgette Mitchell. And head coach, I got to tell you, 2 weeks without a road trip, right? Last one goes back to January 15th against St. Joe's. You get a little bit of a break home, but then you're immediately slammed again, right? You go out and then you face St. Louis. And then one day between a break, you come out and now you're here at George Washington, from St. Louis to Washington, D.C. I know it's a lot for me, but coach, how are you guys feeling? What's the morale? What's the attrition feeling like?
Yeah, we're excited for another opportunity because our last wasn't our best. And so everybody's looking forward to putting together 40 minutes as a team. It's like collectively what we've been talking about. We had a good shoot around in terms of being able to narrow in our focus on this opponent. Rewind that a little bit. We actually took the day off once we got in. So Sunday was off. And then we did 1 and a half day prep because we had a chance to play GW before. And so it's really challenging to beat a team twice. And so that's really just what our team has been focused on. Like, what do we need to do to play really well against them this time out?
And being that you've already seen them, you're clearly familiar with this team already, and with the handful of new transfers that they have this season, including one Paige Mott, who nearly put up a double-double in your game at the Rose Hill Gym last time out. So can you give us anything on your game plan, maybe specifically for a player like Mott?
Yeah, she's a problem. She's a force in the paint. She's very similar to Renee when it comes to that paint dominance. We're going to look forward to getting the ball out of her hands, looking to heavy dig, double, just to make her give the ball up. Also going to limit her, try to limit her touches by denying 3/4 on the post defense for sure.
Coach, you talked about playing this team earlier in the year. I believe it was January 8th, if I'm not mistaken. Familiar face, maybe they come with a new set of, I would say, makeup, right? Is this a matter of if it isn't broke, don't fix it, or are you ready for whatever they're going to be able to throw at you?
Yeah, they've been pretty consistent following our game. She has a few hits that she will throw in at different opponents, and they've been different. But as far as the meat and potatoes of her offense is the same, and so we're preparing for that. Her players are just playing with more confidence now, right? So it's a matter of us executing our defensive game plan and limiting how many uncontested shots that they get. That's what it'll come down to for us, because they keep it pretty simple in what they're trying to do. We just have to be disruptive. We were able to force 21 turnovers last time, so.
And, Coach, just to highlight one of your players now, Carissa Antoine made her first start of the season last game against St. Louis, and maybe the stats don't show it, but I know Madi and I were saying her name a lot on the broadcast. She certainly had a presence on the court. What are you looking for from her in terms of building off of that first start?
Yeah, I think that, if you look at our starting lineups each game, every game requires something, right? And everybody has to grow. And Carissa, had been consistent in how she shows up for practice. And she and Stassi are freshmen, right? So I think that it's giving you all, as supporters and fans, a good look into our future and how promising it is with those two getting substantial minutes and continuing to grow throughout this season.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see it.
Tuesday, February 4th, in the new year of 2025. A lot of implications into this one. The Fordham Rams come stampeding into the Charles E. Smith Center looking for a win. George Washington looking to do the same. That's all next on WFUV Sports.
Back here in the Charles E. Smith Center, starting lineups are announced. They are underway for the home team. It's going to be Gabby Reynolds, Felipa Callisto, Maxine Engel, Michaela Andrews, and rounding out at the 5 is one Paige Mai. If you look at the side of head coach Bridgette Mitchell's brigade in the visiting maroon, laced with black, it's the usual suspects. Taylor Donaldson, Shay Harris. You have yourselves Carissa Antoine making her second start this season, Anastasia Velovic and Irina Murua rounding out the 5. Some faces not in the lineup particularly today. You look on the bench, and Taya Davis is in street clothes, Tucker.
Yeah, that's the first thing that you mentioned to me when the Fordham Rams came out and sat down on their bench tonight, is that Taya Davis is in sweatpants and apparently street clothes. Seemingly she will not play at all tonight. So a big loss for the Fordham Rams. I mean, Taya Davis has been having a great year, 7.5 points, 3.1 boards, 4.4 assists. So that loss will hurt for the Rams, but just about ready for tip-off here.
Taya Davis, the team leader in assists all season long. Fordham will surely miss her presence, but doesn't matter. Head coach Bridgette Mitchell will go on. Lineups change every single game. That's something that she reiterated to me and you before. And the tip is up, and Fordham wins it. Carissa Antoine in the middle there. And it's going to be a quick out of bounds there. Murua hits the ground, and GW gets the ball back in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, kind of a weird situation there. Murua got the initial tip-off and then fired it down court and fell in the process, and it went out of bounds.
Crossing the 10-second line here, it's going to be Gabby Reynolds. Dribble handoff, Callisto, top of the key. Flare action for Engel, makes a move towards the basket. The push shot is up, and it's no good there. Rebound, gathered by Engel inside, and the scoring ice is broken. George Washington on the board. Fordham moving quick in transition. Taylor Donaldson, far side wing. Flare screen action for Shay Harris. The 3 is up. 3 is no good. Back iron. Paige Mott with her first rebound of the game.
I still love that shot from Shay Harris, though, right from the top of the key.
Reynolds surveys the court, makes her move on Velovic. Steps back, take a quick mid-range shot. Nothing but oxygen there. Murua with the easiest rebound she's going to get all night. Pushes in transition. Taylor Donaldson by the GW logo. 9:05 left in this one. First quarter here, 2-0. Still in favor of the home team Revolutionaries. Veljovic dribbling right to left. Makes a move towards the middle. Back out top for Antoine. Loses the dribble. Donaldson, shot clock winds down. Puts up the three-point shot, and that's no good. All backboard. Antoine with her first rebound of the game. Side shot there. And it's out of bounds. It's going to stay here with the Fordham Rams. Quick substitutions here as we enter this one early.
Yeah, it looked like a quick foul there after the missed layup from Carissa Antoine. Shay Harris got her hands on the ball and picked up the foul underneath. It'll be Fordham's ball inbounding under the basket.
Rose Nelson into the game for the very first time. Carissa Antoine's going to take a seat again, Tucker. We talked about the impact she's had last game. Kind of the intangible things that you can't really keep on the scorecard. 8:46 left to go. 2-0 still in favor of George Washington. Fordham baseline out of bounds. Play is called. Taylor Donaldson, the trigger man. looking for anything. Release point. Gets it into Harris. Harris fumbles the dribble. Far side sideline there. And GW with yet another turn of possession.
Yeah, she never really had control there, did Shea Harris on the left wing. Ball just kind of got away from her immediately before she could put it down.
Reynolds to the basket. No help side defense there from Fordham, and Reynolds is going to collect the easiest points of the night so far. 4-0 Revolutionaries. Donaldson, top of the key, gets over the free half-court line. A little bit of a get action there with Rose Nelson. Nelson's going to draw the foul on the Revolutionaries. A little bit too much contact for the refs. They're going to blow their miss away. 8:20 left in quarter number 1.
Yeah, an interesting play there from Rose Nelson. A good job coming into this game early and getting a foul drawn against George Washington.
Shea Harris, top of the key. She takes another quick mid-range shot. That's going to be no good there, but Veljovic is able to sniff it out. Harris working on Kalisto. Puts her shoulder into the chest, puts the shot up, and Fordham gets their first bucket of the game there. 2-4. Revolutionaries still lead. Reynolds crosses the timeline there. Guarded by Donaldson. Pull back dribble there. Reynolds still working on Donaldson. Tries to play keep away there. Far side corner, Michaela Andrews with her first shot of the game. That's going to be no good. Around the rim, and Shea Harris with the Rams stampeding in transition. They pull it back out top. Nelson, dribble handoff to a wide open Donaldson. She lets it go from 3 and brought her. 5-4, Fordham taking the lead.
And who else but Taylor Donaldson to knock down the first 3 of the game for the Fordham Rams, Madi.
Reynolds making her way past the GW logo. 7:16 left in the first quarter. 5-4, Fordham has taken this game by the bootstraps here. And again, Paige Mott's not able to bring it up. Shea Harris once more in transition.
KB!
Waits, surveys the courts, gives it up to Rose Nelson. Free throw line extended. Dribble handoff with Veljovic. Top of the key is Donaldson once more. Taylor Donaldson, the season she's having has been amazing. Murwa inside makes her move, and she's able to draw the foul. Irina Murwa has been capable and reliable all season long. She's going to go to the charity stripe where, again, she has been, just as I said, capable and reliable.
Yeah, really strong move to the basket there by Irene Murwa. We've come to see that a lot more out of her as the season has progressed. And like you mentioned, from the stripe, she's a 76% shooter at the free throw line this season. So we'll see if she can cash in on these 2 for the Fordham Rams.
The first shot is up, and the first shot is good. Shooter's bounce for Irina Murwa, much to the dismay of the GW faithful. 6.2 rebounds per game, a true back-to-the-basket threat. She's been billed as such, and she has been every bit of that. As she nails the second 2 of 2 for Irina Murwa. 7-4. Head coach Bridget Mitchell's going to keep fresh legs here. Murwa rewarded with a little bit of a breather here. Kayla Berry into the game for the first time. Emma Wilson-Saltos doing the same. 6:52 left to go in quarter number 1. 7-4 in favor of the Fordham Rams. Reynolds into the corner. Kalisto thinks about the three-point shot. Moves on. Wilson-Saltos loses the dribble. Gets it back. Up and over, awkward shot there. Not what you want if you're GW. And Fordham once again pushing pace. Run, run, run. It's been the name of the game for the Rams so far. Retreat dribble by Donaldson. Dribble handoff. Kayla Berry gets her first touch. Puts up the three-point shot. And it's going to be no good. Side iron there. Donaldson digging on the ground. Back out top. Harris doesn't even think about it. Puts up the 3. No good. Wilson-Saltos grabs the rebound, loses the dribble, and it's a campfire. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget your marshmallows to make some s'mores, because a pile of humanity around the basketball is going to stay with the Fordham Rams here. Excuse me, going other way with the Revolutionaries. Jump ball call there, goes the way of GW.
And after that last Shea Harris 3, Bridget Mitchell put her hand on her hip, seemingly in disgust at the shot attempt there.
GW makes it past half court. Michaela Andrews, guarded by Donaldson. Little bit of a retreat dribble. She's on the attack now. Little half spin there. And again, Michaela Andrews able to get it done. She's the leading scorer for GW. She shows you exactly why. 6-7, Fordham still in front. 5:50 left to go in quarter number 1.
That's a really strong move from Michaela Andrews, a fresh transfer who spent 4 seasons at Lafayette before coming to George Washington.
Shea Harris, nifty moving on Gabby Reynolds. It's up, and it's just in and out. Basket seems small for Fordham as of right now. And Michaela Andrews is going to take it for GW. Michaela Andrews, graduate guard, 5'10", 77.8% from the free throw line, working on the bigger Nelson, but that's no good. Nothing but win there. GW urging for the travel call. They're going to get it, and the ball's going to stay here with them again. Multiple substitutions here for Fordham. Harris and Mudawa are going to take a seat. Amaya Ferguson, for the very first time in some while, she's going to get some spin, averaging 15 minutes per game, and she's handled herself well as a sophomore lead guard. Dominique Reynolds working on Ferguson. Retreat dribble. Michaela Andrews dumps inside there to Giala. Gabby Reynolds, no dribble three there in the face of Ferguson. She gets it to go. 9-7, 5 minutes to go. Quarter one.
That's a dagger there from Gabby Reynolds, Madi.
Audacious as she is, Gabby Reynolds, second leading scorer for GW. As Rose Nelson moves inside, throws up an awkward shot, but she's able to get the refs to blow their whistle. She's going to have a chance here at the line. 7-9, 4:53 left to go in quarter number one. Fordham stops the clock.
I like to see Rose Nelson using her size a little bit in the interior to get a look, and I like her drawing the foul, but you have to worry about that wrapped right hand of hers. You don't want her to re-injure that hand, Madi.
Yeah, no, Rose Nelson, sneaky athletic and sneaky viable as a scorer, but the hand injury is bothering her like clockwork. First timeout after the 5. It's going to be immediate timeout. We'll kick it to a break. Me and Tucker will grab some water. You're listening to GW and Fordham Women's Athletics on WFUV Sports.
Live from the Big Easy, WFUV Sports has you covered for all things Super Bowl 59.
I'm Will Talent.
And I'm Evan Harkin.
We're two of your Super Bowl 59 beat reporters,
keeping you up to date on all of the events during Radio Row from New Orleans.
Will Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs make history with their third straight Super Bowl victory?
Or will Saquon Barkley and the Eagles soar to their second Super Bowl win in franchise history?
Catch all of the action live from Radio Row on our YouTube page at WFUV Sports.
And follow along for live updates at the big game on Sunday, February 9th.
WFUV Sports, your home for Super Bowl 59 coverage.
Again, all the makings of a very, very interesting one because both teams need it so bad. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Madi, Dembele, joined here by Tucker Austin in the nation's capital. Fordham Rams come into the George Washington Revolutionaries Stadium, the Charles E. Smith Center, and they try to get a win back. And Tucker, you can see by both teams, they're playing with that sense of urgency.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of transition going both ways. George Washington playing a little bit slower than the Fordham Rams, I would say. Fordham has been doing a good job of pushing the pace the other direction and getting contact under the rim, getting to the free throw line a little bit in this game. But, you know, for George Washington, Gabby Reynolds knocks down that three right before the media timeout, and it kind of changed things a little bit. You know, gives George Washington a 2-point lead, now 9-7, the Revolutionaries lead. And so, like, George Washington's not going to go away in this game. Fordham can't expect the Revolutionaries to just roll over and die, especially because Fordham already has that win against George Washington under their belt from earlier this season.
Yeah, the Revs, to open up A-10 play, they get their sole win against LaSalle, but then it's been nothing but icy waters, 8 straight losing games here, so they come out and they try to punch Fordham in the mouth before the Rams could even react, and Fordham riding a 2-game losing streak of their own. They want to get the last game back as St. Louis, where they started off a bit slow, but that's not the case for this game, as they started off pretty fast. 16 combined points for both teams. 4:53 left to go in quarter number one. Rose Nelson here sitting at the free throw line. Junior forward, 6'1", Wallachia, Australia. As she misses the first. 12 blocks on the season. Great positional size with underrated ball handling and passing. 12 assists on the season. Tucker, you talked about her hand injury. It's kind of hampered her ability on offense there. She misses both. And Michaela Andrews tracks down the rebound. Gabby Reynolds trying to beat the Fordham press. Gets it back to Andrews. And she crosses the 10-second line there. Far side wing, top of the key. It's going to be Gabby Reynolds once more, moving right to left, now back left to right. Kayla Barry trying to snatch away the basketball. Engels far side wing there, guarded by Ferguson. Deep in the corner, it's going to be Gabby Reynolds. 7 left on the shot clock there. Revs with nothing to work and dump inside to Paige Mott. She's got to make something work, and she does. Gets the pass to Michaela Andrews on the backside cut there. 11-7. Revs still lead.
That was a sweet bounce pass behind the back there to get the wide open bucket for Michaela Andrews.
Donaldson, isolation there. All alone on Sarah Lewis. Puts up the stagnant 3. That's going to be in and out there. Revolutionaries running now in transition. Gabby Reynolds, the culprit, works on Rose Nelson, not able to get it to go. Ball makes its way out of bounds. It's going to be ruled staying with the home team. 11-7, 3:56 left to go in quarter 1.
And with the amount of times that we've now been seeing George Washington get into the interior and get those close looks, those high percentage buckets, if you will, Madi, Fordham taking those threes on the other end is starting to look a little interesting.
Nifty set there by the Revolutionaries. Andrews misses everything off the dribble handoff. Donaldson pushing hard in transition. Looks for the outlet. It's going to be Ferguson all alone. Wing side 3, no good. Donaldson tracks down the rebound, puts up the shot. Also no good. Saltos amongst the trees, draws the foul. She throws her hands up there. So another stoppage in play. 3:35, 11-7. Revolutionaries still lead. The Saltos will be going to the line here.
Yeah, more free throws for the Fordham Rams now. Still doing a good job in the paint on the other end, but, you know, we saw another three-point attempt, this time from Amaya Ferguson. It doesn't go. At some point, you have to start, I mean, on the one hand, you'd like them to keep shooting threes, right? Because you think eventually 1 or 2 will start to go down. But, you know, as George Washington maybe starts to extend the lead, you have to wonder if Fordham should start looking for more of those buckets inside.
Wilson Salto, she gets the fishbowl treatment on the first shot there. Second shot is up. And second shot is also no good. Rims in and out. It's going to be Jala in transition, tracking down the rebound. Gabby Reynolds crossing over half court. Inside quickly to Jala. Back out top. Reynolds, she puts up the 3. No good. Again, a dogfight for the basketball. Lewis tries to save it. Goes the way of Engels. Barry's all over it as well. Jump ball. Lead official here is going to rule for the Fordham Rams. Again, the Revolutionaries getting it on the last timeout. So Fordham's going to get rewarded the rock.
And Fordham still showing all of the work that they've been doing on rebounding and on just making it difficult to grab rebounds in general. Maybe you don't grab all of them, but if you just make it a fight under the basket every time that there's a loose ball after a missed shot, you know, it gets tiring if you're the opposing team.
Fordham doing what they do best. 13 rebounds on the night. 7 of them have come on the offensive end there. Fordham not a stranger to crashing the glass. Donaldson around the Murua screen, gives it up to Veljovic. Veljovic's 3 is no good. Engels with the rebound. The Revolutionaries once more pushing in transition. Leading up to Sarah Lewis there, top of the key. Inside to Jala. Surveys the court. Makes her first move on Murua. Inside, little through step, no good. And out of bounds as Engels has Butterfingers with the basketball. Fordham will have a chance here. 2:45, 11-7. Score has stayed stagnant for some time. And Amaya Ferguson here dictating the Fordham offense. Makes it past the big GW in gold and navy. Veljovic working on Andrews. Picks up her dribble. High post touch for Murua. Dribble handoff, pick and roll situation for Ferguson. Ferguson with the awkward hook, doesn't get it to go. Right into the hands of Gabby Reynolds. Abby Reynolds, head up, looks the way of Sarah Lewis. Back out top. Inside to Jala. Jala bounce pass inside for Sarah Lewis. Lewis hits the ground hard. Donaldson got all ball there. Refs still blow their whistle. It's going to be in favor of the Revolutionaries there. Great movement and cutting there by the Revolutionaries.
Yeah, and another great bounce pass in the interior from Miriam Diala. At 6'1", a freshman standing at 6'1", from Heidelberg, Germany.
Sarah Lewis here at the line, sophomore forward, 6'1", Atlanta, Georgia. She's a sizey point forward. She has steady two-way ability, 6.1 rebounds per game, as well as 15 blocks. She gets the first one to go. In both of those categories, Tucker Austin, she leads the team. Integral part here within the George Washington offense as the second shot is up. And the second shot's pure. 2 for 2 at the line, extending their lead to 6, 13-7. 2:13 left to go in quarter number 1. Fordham still very much within it. Both teams playing with that level of pressure and that level of urgency we talked about. Amaya Ferguson past the tie line, gives it up quick to Shea Harris. Free throw line extended. Harris waiting for anything on offense to materialize. Uses the Morris screen, faces the blitz. Looking for the release and nothing there. Sarah Lewis with the easiest steal she'll have all night. And Gabby Reynolds slows it down for the Revs. Quick inside for Sarah Lewis. And it's going to be an offensive foul there as Veljovic hits the ground hard. Heads up play there by the Rams. They'll get the basketball back here with an opportunity to cut the deficit.
Gabby Reynolds picks up the foul for the Revolutionaries on the charge. Great job by Veljovic there to change the momentum after the building got really loud for that turnover on the press.
Veljovic, near side wing, uses the Murwa screen. Makes her move. And it's going to be called for a carry there.
You don't see that too often anymore, Madi.
Yeah, not at all there. Veljovic trying to make her way, going back to her left hand with the little stutter step. You could anticipate the left-hand ball movement, but the refs catch her on the carry movement there. She's going to take a seat back into the game for her. It's going to be Kayla Barry as Gabby Reynolds makes her way past the huge GW there. Again, 1:28 left, 13-7. Inside, rims in and out shot there for Kamari Sims. She's into the game for the first time. And a bit of a miscommunication there between Barry and Ferguson as the ball just makes its way out of bounds. GW with yet another free possession for them. The turnovers are piling up.
Yeah, there's been some sort of uncharacteristic mistakes from the Fordham Rams in this first quarter. It's sort of the reason why the Revolutionaries still have a 6-point lead here in the late stages of the first period.
Again, Fordham shooting themselves in the foot. 7 turnovers to the Revolutionaries, 2. Something that head coach Bridget Mitchell stressed throughout the season. As the shot is up for Sarah Lewis, that's no good. Rebound is corralled by Miriam Jala, and she's able to get the quick deuce around the basket. 15-7. Fordham running hurry-up offense into half court. Donaldson far side wing. Modawa rolls early. Shea Harris finds the basketball, makes her move under the basket, gives it up. Ferguson wide alone for the easiest 3 she'll have all night, but no good. Andrews with the basketball, and Kayla Barry is able to take it away from her. Quick intermission of play here. But the heads-up play there by Kayla Barry is going to get Fordham an extra possession. 39.5 left to go. Fordham in the hole by 8, 15-7.
Yeah, it was a bit of confusion there on the floor between the scoring table and the referees about when to start the shot clock after Kayla Barry got that turnover in her own offensive zone.
Again, a few more substitutions here. Natalia Sierra Vargas into the game for the first time. Gabby Reynolds, after all her hard work, she's going to take a seat. Mudawa trying to solve the geometry. Back out top, Harris gives it up to Ferguson. Playing hot potato between the two. And it's going to be a foul. Jala with too much contact getting into the airspace of Mudawa. Stops the clock once again. 27.1, 15-7. Fordham still in the hole by 8.
And I think the heights don't really do them justice, Madi. Mudawa was going to battle with some sizable individuals in the paint down there for George Washington. And she's doing battle, now finds herself at the line for the second time tonight.
Mudawa shooting about 76% from the free throw line, First one is good, and again, Tucker, as you said, she's going against the trees. Miriam Jala, 6'1". You talked about Paige Ma, also 6'1", so she has a tall task ahead of her. As the second shot is no good there. It's going to be side iron, right iron there. Shot clock is now officially turned off. 21 seconds left on the shot clock to end the first quarter. Andrews, leading scorer for GW this season. She's going to turn the clock down to the last stop. Working on Harris, slowly but surely, switched onto by Barry.
Great defense by Barry.
Dribble. Up and through, and she's able to get it to go. 17-8 as Fordham throws up anything. It comes not close at all. 17-8 here to end quarter number 1. And all the momentum seems to be on the side of the home team.
Yeah, Madi, it's been a lot of mistakes from the Fordham Rams to open up this game. I think if they just sort of take this time between the quarters to recollect themselves a little bit and limit the mistakes a little bit, like just a little bit, not entirely, but just limit those like sort of boneheaded turnovers in their own offensive or in their own defensive zone trying to transition, if they can get rid of that, this is a whole new ball game, and it's only a 9-point basketball game.
Only a 9-point basketball game, indeed, because I echo the sentiment. There's a lot to like from both teams. We're going to take a quick timeout here, end of the first quarter. We're going to kick it back to the studios from D.C. back to New York, and it's going to be Sophia Smith with sports updates from around the sports world. Sophia, do your thing. Take it away.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
On Saturday evening, the Dallas Mavericks and Los Angeles Lakers stunned NBA players and fans alike with a blockbuster trade that no one saw coming. Out of the shadows, the Mavs swapped their 25-year-old superstar Luka Doncic for 31-year-old Anthony Davis and a first-round pick. The trade comes only a season after Doncic single-handedly led the Mavs to the NBA Finals, leaving Dallas fans confused, enraged, and in mourning, evidenced by a symbolic funeral held outside American Airlines Center in honor of their former star player. Going forward, many speculate that Doncic will act as an eventual replacement for a retiring LeBron James, paving the way for the next great Lakers team. As for the Mavs, this trade seemingly tightens their winning window, as both Davis and Kyrie Irving will be turning 33 in March. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Sophia Smith.
Once again, for those just joining us, that was Sophia Smith with Sports Update. She's back in the Bronx, the WFUV studios. Myself, Madi, Dembele, and Tucker Austin, we're here from the nation's capital, where the Rams are looking to get out of their stinker. 17-8 after 1 quarter of play, 10 minutes of play, and all the momentum is on the side of the Revolutionaries. They are digging Fordham in the coffin by 9. And again, Fordham having to play catch-up, Tucker.
Yeah, and George Washington is running that deep rotation that we know they have. They have more than a starting rotation of players who play more than 20 minutes a game. Their players get in, and they all produce, Madi. Gabby Reynolds has 5 points. Maxine Engel has 2. Michaela Andrews has 6. Diala has 2. Lewis has 2. They're getting scoring from all over the place. Meanwhile, the Fordham Rams have only gotten points out of Donaldson, Harris, and Murwa, the usual suspects, but you need a little bit more out of the whole team and a full team effort. When Fordham beat George Washington in their first matchup, 4 Fordham Rams scored double-digit points. If they don't put that together today, George Washington might come home with the dub.
And the game flow as such mirrors a lot of that St. Louis game. Fordham starting off the game relatively slow, but then they eventually pick it up. Sarah Lewis, top of the key. Quick pass, zips the ball to a wide-open Sims on the three-point line. That's going to be no good. As Andrew tries to track it down, it's going to stay here with the Revs by the fault of Fordham. 9:48, quick open here to quarter number 2.
Still looking to see if Fordham can get a quick momentum turnover here.
Out of bounds, Sarah Lewis into Michaela Andrews. Andrews loses the dribble by way of the defense of Taylor Donaldson.
There's my momentum turnover.
So there we go, back-to-back turnovers here. Fordham gets the ball back. 9:43, 17-8 is your score here as Donaldson makes her way past the 10-second line. Dribble handoff with Velovich over to Harris. Kayla Berry gets the high post touch inside to Murwa. Murwa tries to work on Mott, puts the shot up, and it's good. It's a shot that's loved her, and she's loved that shot. 10-17, Fordham trailing.
That looked just too easy for Rene Murwa, posting up against the 6'1" Paige Mott and getting the easy 2.
Sims gives it up to Andrews, far side wing, back out top to Sims. Multi-dribble isolation there. Andrews switches on to Veljevich. Far side corner, Kamari Sims. Bull rushes Kayla Berry there on the sideline. Find the opening, Sims puts up the 3. It's going to be no good. Back iron. Fordham coming down with the rebound there. Kayla Berry, 17-10, 8:49. Shea Harris, retreat dribble, uses the Berry screen, gives it up to Veljevich. Another high post touch there for Berry. Berry from about 17, that's going to be front iron. And the Revolutionaries are running once more in transition as they've done all game long. Sarah Lewis, wide open 3, near side wing, no good. And it's going to be out of bounds here. Fordham, mad at the egregious call. Irina Mura hits it off of Paige Mott's hands. Mott knew she was the culprit there. A little bit of a malfunction by the lead official.
Well, wasn't that something? The call went the wrong way, right in front of the Rams bench. It was a huge clamor from right to our left, Madi, but they recollected, changed the direction of the call.
Fordham, donned in their maroon on black, as Shea Harris kicks out to Veljovic. Veljovic around the world dribbling. And Kamari Sims is going to get enough hand-on ball to dictate the jump ball. 17-10, 8-12 in quarter number 2. Fordham's going to get a reset, another crack at this egg. Baseline out of bounds play. Donaldson's the trigger man. Looking for the release, it's going to be Harris. Harris, far deep corner there, inside to Mora. Mora trying to work against 2, puts up the hook, no good. But Barry again, as she's done all season long, getting them a second opportunity. You hear it, 2 seconds left on the clock, and Donaldson hits the ground hard. The referees are forced to blow their whistle. And Donaldson, she's going to get a chance here at the charity stripe.
Great communication from the Fordham bench to our right once again, calling out the shot clock as it was expiring to get Taylor Donaldson to push the pace a little bit, get inside, and then, of course, getting in on the contact again in the paint, and Fordham goes back to the line. They've been at the stripe all night, Madi.
Yeah, and it's been something that they've struggled with, but it's something that they need. It is imperative that they take advantage of as Donaldson gets the first shot up, and it's a very uncharacteristic shot for Taylor Donaldson.
The other thing I think bears mentioning about the free throws that, yes, Fordham has gone to the line plenty tonight, but George Washington's 2 for 2 from the free throw line. The Fordham Rams are 3 for 9, and now 4 for 10.
The shot is up, the shot is good, as you heard called by Tucker Austin there. Deficit is now 6 for Fordham. GW with the lead, 17-11, 7:58 left to go in quarter number 2.
Still a press from Fordham.
GW looking to break the Fordham press. And Donaldson with yet another one of her patented steals. She's quick in transition. Ram stampeding. Munua wide open 3. And it's pure. And it's pure. Irina Munua, 17-14, 7:37 as the clock slowly ticks off. Fordham in the blink of an eye. They're right back into this one. And Donaldson with her second straight steal gets hands on the basketball. And just like that, with the bench mob, silencing the GW faithful.
Yeah, she was halfway to the basket after that steal. It was called back for a jump ball just before she could get loose. But Taylor Donaldson was already streaking down the court when the call came.
So GW finding themselves a silver lining within that fire. They escape. Vargas, corner, Andrews working on the double team. Salto's with her hands straight up. Foul's going to be called there on Shea Harris from behind. 7:18 left to go. 3-point lead here for GW, 17-14. And again, Fordham seemingly the same game flow as that St. Louis games. Slower to start, but they slowly but surely pick up, and they found themselves only within 3.
Yeah, the difference being here, Madi, that it only took after the first quarter for Fordham to get things going again. It took an entire half for either team to get going at St. Louis.
As Andrews' shot rims in and out here, much to the dismay, much to the dislike of the GW faithful. And again, Fordham's run sparked by none other than Taylor Donaldson, graduate guard, 5'10", Newbury Park, California, averaging about 16.8 points per game as Andrews misses both from the line. Back to Donaldson, liable to score from anywhere on the floor. I believe in the street you call that a bucket. And she's also capable on the defensive end. She has more than 45 steals on the season.
And fair to say there was a lane violation after the second free throw.
Lane violation indeed. So Andrews is going to get another crack at it, and she makes good. 18-14, lead back up to 4. As Donaldson plays hurry up past the 10-second tie line. Gives it up to Shea Harris. Harris surveying the court. Switched on 2 by Engels. Jump pass back out top to Kayla Barry. 15 seconds on the shot clock. As Donaldson puts up the quick little hook from deep distance there from about 15. That's going to be no good. Rims in and out. And now the Revolutionaries work on offense. Andrews Donaldson matchup, one to relish, one to watch as this game goes on. And Paige Mott hits the ground hard. Donaldson with a little bit of chicken wing. Donaldson not liking that one, claiming the flop. 6:46 left to go in quarter number 2. Yeah. Both coaches keeping fresh legs. Antoine and Kalisto back into the game. Andrews and Mudawa will take a seat.
And it's only Donaldson's first foul, but I think it definitely needs to be mentioned the number of players who fouled out of Fordham's last game against St. Louis. They lost 2 players for that overtime period, so definitely don't want to see Taylor Donaldson out of this game.
And Emma Wilson-Saltos, like a thief in the night, stealing the pass there. Fordham going quickly in transition. Shea Harris puts up the three. Man in her face there. That's going to be no good. And Wilson-Saltos' efforts to keep the ball in bounds goes to Felipa Calisto as she brings it across the GW logo. Sims, big size there. Nifty inside pass. A little bit too much there for Paige Mott, but Sims with the size and her ball handling ability, she's going to be trouble for Fordham all night. Donaldson dictating for Fordham offense, guarded by Calisto, uses the Antoine screen. Barry, high post touch there, goes by Antoine. Looks strong side to Donaldson, nothing's there. Jay Harris brings it, pulls it back out, 6:07, 8-14. Wilson-Saltos trying to make something happen. It's going to stay here with Fordham. Wilson-Saltos would have liked the foul to be called there. 6:02 left, 4-point lead here for the Revolutionaries. Fordham still fighting, still within it.
Working their way back, getting those turnovers that the Fordham Rams need. As Rose Nelson now checks in, and Shea Harris takes a seat, and Rose Nelson's going to throw the inbound for the Fordham Rams.
Fordham deciding to go a little bit bigger in this next set of play. Donaldson, far side wing, puts up the three. It's going to be front iron, and Vargas tracks the ball down. She's out in transition. Heads up pass there to Paige Mott. Paige Mott able to get it up and over to Rose Nelson and Saltos within the vicinity. 6-point lead with 5:45 left to go in quarter number 2. All Revolutionaries.
And I'm surprised it took this long for Paige Mott to get herself on the scoreboard. She led the Revolutionaries in scoring against Fordham last time out.
Quick shot there, top of the key by Shea Harris. Goes out of bounds, but yet again, Saltos, her frame, her physicality, you can't do nothing but foul, so Fordham's going to get another shot at this. 5:33 left, 20-14. A little bit of reset in play. Donaldson, baseline out of bounds, trigger man, slapping the ball, indicates play. Up and over to Nelson. Free throw line extended, guarded by Calisto. Rip through dribble on Vargas, and a foul there. A bit aggressive on the GW unit. A couple of players, not just one, got in on that one.
I believe they called a foul on Kayla Berry, or...
No, it's going to stay here with Fordham, not Kayla Berry on GW.
No, I think it was Callisto, actually, yeah.
Yeah, she's going to go ahead and take a seat here. Major infraction there as multiple GW players get their hands on Donaldson. Nelson, top of the key for Donaldson. Donaldson inside quickly to Wilson-Saltos, able to grab the ball out of the air, puts the shot up, no good. And Engels grabs it out of the air in transition. Sims looks the way of Jala. Back out top, Sierra Vargas. Near side wing, Lewis, inside to Jala. Working on Saltos, back out top, Sims. Once again, spin move. Shot clock slowly winds down, over to his Vargas, and that's gonna be no good. Antoine plays keep away with George Washington, and Donaldson controls once more. 4:48 left to go in quarter number 2 before halftime, 20-14. 6-point lead here for GW. Nelson dribbling right to left, now back left to right. Makes her move on the bigger Sims. It's going to stay here with Fordham. Sims gets basketball on it, and it's going to be a quick timeout here. Fordham's going to have to rethink some things over. We'll keep it here, and again, for both teams, it's been moving in a linear fashion, Tucker, where you get the impression that both teams are within it, though it's been all George Washington. They've held the lead for a majority of the game, but Fordham's still right there.
Yeah, Fordham clawing their way back into this game. I said at the end of the first quarter when they were down 9 that this game certainly wasn't over yet. I mean, the way that Fordham's games have gone all year, they're really never out of it. You never know when a run could sort of materialize from nothing. But I mean, also like we were saying at the end of or at the start of the second quarter, George Washington still is getting their scoring from mostly everywhere. I mean, Paige Mott now gets on the scoreboard for the first time. But it's been Michaela Andrews now with 7 points leading the team. She's sort of separating herself from the rest of the Revolutionaries as a leading scorer. And there's Wonder Woman from 1976 in the building.
Ladies and gentlemen, Linda Carter, Wonder Woman 1976, the guest coach for this one. Guessing she's an alum here. Sorry to cut you off there, Tucker.
No, that's incredible.
Me and you both looking up. It's the first whistle under 5. We're going to enjoy Linda Carter here in the stadium. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll be right back on WFUV Sports.
The one-on-one score.
Live from the Big Easy, WFUV Sports has you covered for all things Super Bowl 59.
I'm Will Talent.
And I'm Evan Harkin.
We're two of your Super Bowl 59 beat reporters,
keeping you up to date on all of the events during Radio Row from New Orleans.
Will Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs make history with their third straight Super Bowl victory?
Or will Saquon Barkley and the Eagles soar to their second Super Bowl win in franchise history?
Catch all of the action live from Radio Row on our YouTube page at WFUV Sports.
And follow along for live updates at the big game on Sunday, February 9th.
WFUV Sports, your home for Super Bowl 59 coverage.
It's a strength in numbers type of game for both teams. Fordham and George Washington pulling together all their players, saying we have to get this done. From the nation's capital, I am Madi Dembele, joined here by the wonderful Tucker Austin on color commentary. And again, as I've said before, as Linda Carter flashes on the big board there, both teams moving in a linear fashion. Again, Fordham working in slowly but surely, but you get the impression at the same time that it's been all GW.
Yeah, Madi, and you almost wish the Fordham Rams could start playing like Amazons, a little bit like Wonder Woman, to sort of get themselves back in this game. I mean, like we mentioned, it's still a 6-point game. Just need to get some good looks.
And Murua leaves it up to Nelson. Nelson making a move quickly as we resume play after the media timeout. Multiple hands go up in the air. Nelson laughing at that one. Felt it should have gone in the Ram favor. But no dice, no matter. Favor goes in.
Bit of an in-between play there. It didn't really seem like it was in Nelson's possession. It was sort of over her shoulder. Kind of a loose ball, but I'm not surprised it goes to George Washington.
Near side wing, it's going to be Andrews.
Good poke there by Carissa Antoine.
Active hands, Carissa Antoine. Again, we talked about her in the last broadcast. Made a huge impact beyond the numbers at St. Louis. She gets her second spin of the night here. Sierra Vargas being the trigger man here. Graduate forward center, excuse me. Sierra Vargas, junior guard, 5'8", San Diego, California. Speedy, ball handling, skill who thrives in transition, shooting 50% from the free throw line.
I think this whole team might thrive in transition, Madi.
GW loving to run, angles inside, little hook shot over Antoine. And that's going to be good, extending their lead to 8, 22-14, 3:50 in quarter number 2.
Yeah, and that's a nice little baby hook there from Maxine Engel, the 6-foot senior from Memphis, Tennessee.
Donaldson receives the curl action, bumps into the chest of Jala, and she gets it to go. Shooter's touch there, gets the points right back, 22-16, still in favor of the Revolutionaries. Andrews, top of the key, guarded by Donaldson. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the matchup to relish, the matchup to watch. Must see A10 TV or radio. Engels working far sideline. Far side wing, Lewis. Same thing there. Poor spacing here by George Washington. Jala decides to go it alone and over the contest of Antoine again. 24-16, 8-point lead.
And George Washington keeps getting a lot of really tough shots to go. Not the easy looks, but the tougher looks are the ones that are going for the Revolutionaries.
They've been finding the light in the fire, George Washington. As they play defense, Donaldson, quick fire 3, and it's pure nothing but net butter. 24-19, 2:47 left in this quarter, right before halftime. Sierra Vargas crosses over the tie line. Sarah Lewis, free throw line extended. Moves off the Jala screen, and it's going to be a call there. Foul on, I believe, Donaldson. It's going to stay here with the Revolutionaries with just over 2:30 left to go before half. Bit of a substitution here. Head coach Bridget Mitchell going to keep fresh legs. Barry's going to take a seat into the game. Is back Shay Harris. She had a major impact going back to January 8th, the last time that this team played George Washington. Hoping to recapture that magic here as Sarah Lewis is at the line. And it's good. Sarah Lewis, absolutely pure. You heard the sound of that. Sophomore forward, 6'1", Atlanta, Georgia.
And it was actually Antoine who picked up the foul on this one, Madi. Not to correct you, but Taylor Donaldson, we do not need more personal fouls than she already has.
Please correct me on that one. Saul Donaldson kind of dismayed with that call. Antoine's going to pick up the foul on that one, and Fordham moving quickly in transition. Andrews with a hand on basketball. Nelson trying to make quick work of her. The GW faithful screaming defense. Nelson with absolutely nothing. Deep in the corner is Harris. Fumbles the dribble. Working on Ciara Vargas. Goes it alone. Puts up the shot. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you may take a wild swing and it ends up in a home run. Quick through Shea Harris. 26-21. 2 minutes left to go.
What a pretty underhand layup from Shea Harris with the building in her ear.
Engels puts up the quick three. Strong off the backboard. Antoine able to track it down. And Fordham plays hot potato in the hands of Donaldson. Looks the way of Bridget Mitchell for the play call. Top of the key, Nelson. Nelson, veteran presence here, junior forward for the Fordham Rams. Makes a move towards the middle, looks for the pass, and it's to Sarah Lewis as GW gets another rebound into the chest of Donaldson. And she's going to get another foul on way by Fordham.
There's that foul that I didn't want Taylor Donaldson to pick up, but it's unfortunate because she was the only one there to stop the drive and stop the completely easy two, at least force her to go to the line and work for the points. But on the other end, a bit of a tough play there for Rose Nelson, looking for an option in the paint, and there was just nothing there.
Sarah Lewis misses the first shot there. Shooting 73% from the free throw line. As the second shot is up, and the second shot is pure. She's able to salvage the trip there. One up to 27-21, 1:30 left to go in quarter number two. Donaldson once again looking the way of Bridget Mitchell. It's going to be Nelson, top of the key. Fordham making their way past the half-court line, leaving it up to Shea Harris. Stops Harris in her tracks. It's going to be Antoine. Antoine with the baby hook, no good. But Fordham, we get another offensive rebound. Back on top for Donaldson. Step back three on Lewis. And it's just no good. Inches off there. Fordham, second offensive rebound in the sequence. And Antoine able to draw the foul under the basket here. Stoppage in play. Fordham with an opportunity to cut the deficit.
More really, really hard, gritty work in the paint from the Fordham Rams. I almost feel like a parrot at this point, Madi, because I've said it so many times. But it bears saying every single time. The Rams are doing an excellent job in the paint, getting after every single rebound and getting a second look up on offense almost on every possession. And it normally results in a trip to the free throw line like it does this time for Carissa Antoine.
And Caramel McComb, she's going to sit down her leading scorer, Michaela Andrews. And into the game for Andrews, it's going to be Paige Mott once more. Antoine trying to keep the GW faithful out of her head, and she's able to convert on one of two. So here we are, 1 minute left to go on the nose, 27-22. Excuse me, into the game for the first time. It's going to be Morgan Matthews. Immediately almost gives up the basketball, faces the 10-second, and Fordham crying for the call. They get it. So Fordham forcing the turnover on GW. With 49.5 left to go. Again, Fordham with opportunity to make something out of this amazing defensive possession.
Yeah, and the referees are congregating at the midcourt. George Washington head coach Caroline McCombs looking for an answer, but it's going to be Fordham ball over here as right by. Actually, no. It's going to be George Washington ball.
It's going to stay with the refs.
Well, that's interesting. I think so. The ball rolled past half court after George Washington moved into the front court.
Exactly.
Off of a tip by a Fordham Ram. That was the call on the floor, but it put them back behind the half court line. But then they spent a significant amount of time back there.
Ciara Vargas moving left to right. Engels pump fakes on Harris. Far side wing is going to be Morgan Matthews. Dumps inside to Jala. She's having herself an excellent game. And the Revolutionaries try that patented strong side cut from the wing inside. And they're not able to get a shot off as Fordham, almost like defensive backs in football, all great hands, able to track that, sniff that play out. They're going to have a chance at this. 30 seconds left to go before halftime. 27-22, GW up 5. Far side wing, free throw line extended. Shea Harris, top of the key. Donaldson playing keep away with Lewis. Inside to Murua, moves on Jala. Two fakes and it's good. It's the shot that she loves, and ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's the shot that loves her back. 27-24, 10 seconds left. Revolutionaries trying to get one more in before the half. 5, 4, you hear the crowd. Morgan Matthews dribbles, puts up the shot, and it's no good there. And for halftime, that's all she wrote, 27-24. Much more interesting game here in the Charles E. Smith Center. Again, Tucker, you have to like what you've seen out of both teams, considering the fact that they played pretty much an even game of basketball tonight.
Yeah, huge response from the Fordham Rams after that first quarter to come back and turn this into a 3-point game going into the half. It's a much better position. You feel a lot better about yourself as a team if you're the Fordham Rams going into the locker rooms at the half. But leaving something to be desired from the free throw line are the Fordham Rams tonight. You look at the George Washington Revolutionaries, who are 6 for 8 from the stripe tonight. Meanwhile, the Fordham Rams, 5 for 12. Say the Fordham Rams are 10 for 12 instead. They have a 2-point lead in this game at the half rather than a 3-point deficit. So I think the Fordham Rams, they made good adjustments from the first to the second quarter. They need to keep their adjustments from that quarter break and add to it. Build on those adjustments going into the second half. But I do want to highlight from the end of that first half, Carissa Antoine's work on the forcing a jump ball right here in front of us to give Fordham the last possession. That was huge. And then Morwa with a beautiful reverse layup with the English off the glass. Great work from Morwa and Antoine and the Rams.
Spotlights, a lot of implications, and a lot of basketball left to be played. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kick it back to the Rose Hill Stadium? No, the studio. The studio, WFUV Studios, with the halftime report. George Fugatakis, joined by Sophia Smith. Guys, take it away.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome to the Rose Hill Studios. George Fugatakis here with Sophia Smith and Kurt Sipple. And the Rams are trailing the George Washington Revolutionaries by 3 with a score of 27-24. Guys, how do you think the Rams can mount a slight comeback to win this game?
I'm liking how it looked in the second quarter. I think that the first looked very sluggish, and they started off behind. They haven't caught up yet, but I think that keeping that energy that they found in the second will definitely help them later on.
I mean, you, George.
I fully agree. I believe that most of the games that I've covered this year, the Rams have started out very slow, but they really figured out what was wrong in the second quarter, outscoring the Revolutionaries by 6, 16 to 10 point differential, shooting better from the field than they did in the first. 2 for 15 from the field in the first is lackluster to say the least. 37% is better, but it's still not as nice as you want to see. That the 3-point shooting did improve as well. I feel like if the Rams can keep this energy going into the second half, they can really beat up on this team.
Well, you could see last time that the Fordham Rams played the George Washington Revolutionaries, the last game that they played, Fordham had a dub. But again, that start out for George Washington got out to 15, outscored Fordham in the first quarter 15-9. And then after that, Fordham again had Fordham in the second half outscoring George Washington in the last game they played 13-9. So are we seeing some kind of game that where Fordham and George Washington are going back and forth? We're kind of seeing double from the last game. I think now it's about Fordham having to have improvement on the free throw line, like we heard Tucker say. You have to keep your turnovers tight. Right now it's 8-8 off the turnover battle. But that's just not what you need. Why are you turning the ball over 8 times? You can't turn the ball over 8 times. You got to be a little bit less sloppy with the basketball. This might be a common theme that you want to be gritty, muddy, you want to muck up on the defensive side and the offensive side, but got to be very careful with the basketball. I feel like this is a theme that we've talked about all year. Being careful with the basketball is something that Fordham needs to improve on in this next game, in this next start to the third quarter. They've been outscored points off turnovers. While it's only by 2, it's 12-10 on points off turnovers right now. It's okay that that's happening right now, but you need for that third quarter and that fourth quarter to get out, run it. Like you saw in that first quarter, they started off less sluggish than we saw in their last 2 games, but it was still slow, it felt like. like you were saying before, George, that it felt still slow to the Fordham Rams, that they were not off to the best start. And you know what? That's true. But it's all about the fire that Coach Bridget Mitchell can light under them at the end of the half. And that's usually what she does in the locker room.
And I feel like continuing on with that, being careful with the ball thought process, we're 3 for 14 from the three-point line. Those are low percentage looks, and they're not landing. I feel like if you start taking higher percentage shots, that's almost half our shots are from three, and we're 3 for 14. Though that's you go to take higher percentage shots. You're making those higher percentage looks, and I feel like if you are more careful with your shot selection, you'll have a higher point differential, which will lead to you winning the game.
Yeah, I agree with everything that was said. I think that improving the field goal percentage, and as Kurt said, like taking control of the ball and not turning it over. I think that George Washington is not a really scary team, and I think that Fordham definitely can come back and should come back.
Also looking at the box score, you see Fordham has 4 players who have scored.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Antoine has 1 point, so that really doesn't make that much of a difference when you're looking at who's scoring. We have 3 people who have scored over 2 points. The Rams have 3 people who have scored over 2 points, and I feel like the bench points is what is really where the Revolutionaries are taking advantage. They have more bench points than us. They have more scores than us, and that's leading to the Rams really struggling to put their feet in the ground and capitalize.
Once again, Mora and Donaldson are leading the pack, and I think that if everyone can build on their energy and really get in there, then that'll definitely make an improvement.
No, definitely, and I agree with you. Rene Marua was brought here. I always say this as just to tell our listeners just what it is. Rene Marua was brought here from Detroit Mercy to do what she does, grab rebounds, which they are doing right now. Fordham has grabbed, right now, Carissa Antron has 5 rebounds. Taylor Donaldson has 3. And, Rene Marua doesn't have 1. That's another thing, is usually you'll see her having all the rebounds. I like the spread out nature of the rebounding game right now for Fordham, not relying on one person. But the scoring, like you said, George, and I like to agree with you too, Sophia, is that the scoring has to be under control from the bench. As well as, yes, Taylor Donaldson and Rene Marua can be your elite scorers for the game. They can put the majority of their scoring on their back for the most part. But basketball is a team sport. You have to have a good amount. You have to have a good amount of scoring from all sides of the ball. Right now, Rose Nelson, she needs to take more shots. Rose can hit those field goals. She sometimes feels like she could be a little shy from the field.
Seems nervous.
I don't know about nervous. I think that she just wants to. It's the Fordham kind of pass first. And if she has a good open look, take that good open look. Why not? Take a good shot that you might have, or Rose Nelson, same thing. And it's just, you got to have these looks coming down. I don't expect Fordham to keep up with a 25% field goal percentage. You have the top scorer in the A-10. Taylor Donaldson is number 1. She's going to get her points, and we know she's going to get her points. It's not about if, it's about when. It's about when the bench starts to participate, that the Fordham Rams will get more action in this game and won't be as behind against George Washington, like you said, Sophia, earlier. Not a scary team. There's a reason they're 2-8, I believe, in the A-10 right now.
1-9.
1-9 in the A-10, exactly. There's a reason that they're 1-9 right now in the A-10, and Fordham has been currently a wrecking crew. You got to just find your identity again.
And building off of that bench presence, I feel like once the bench is scoring and bringing energy, that lifts the whole team up. That's we see that in with other teams. The bench creates energy. It's the people you don't expect to put up high numbers, and it creates a sense of a circle around them, around the starting lineup that gets them fired up as well. So I think the bench just brings more energy and builds the morale of the team, especially when you're shooting so poorly from the field. The bench can really light a fire and create energy.
Yeah, it should be really easy for the Rams to sneak back in here. George Washington is 1 for 8 on 3-pointers, and I know that the Rams aren't doing as they're 3 for 14. They need to pick that up.
Both teams are shooting poorly from behind the arc.
Yeah, but there's definitely room, and they got to get it together.
definitely there's room for the improvement. And I think that it's personally Fordham's game to lose, I feel like, at the end of the day. I don't want to say that it's the game-to-game kind of thing, like you don't underestimate your opponent. But for Fordham, their talent really should outmatch George Washington tonight, as well as you had a really tough game against St. Louis the other night going into overtime. Yeah, those are really tiring games and really hard-fought games. Fordham's going to come out. Bridgette Mitchell lights the fire underneath them. I don't know what she does in that locker room, the speeches that she gives, but you can always see.
They always come out of the second. They always come out of the break, guns blazing,
punching.
Yeah,
it's wonderful to see, and you can see it always. It's all about getting out to that fast start now, and I think that they got out to that fast start in the first quarter, but you have to keep it up. You got to keep up that energy. And to your point about the scoring and the bench getting involved, I said this last broadcast against St. Louis that when the bench starts getting involved, or when you make a big shot, a big three, or even like a high percentage layup shot, or just like a really good move, that gets the whole entire squad involved. That gets everyone hyped off the bench. That brings energy off your bench. And that's the kind of plays that have had Fordham profiting all year. We heard the bench cheering for Irene Marua when she had that three. She might not take a lot of threes, but when she hits threes, it's a very exciting moment. And that's exactly what you need. You need the exciting plays to get started. And the way you get those exciting plays is if you come out guns blazing and you play the defense that has gotten you this far already.
Like a big steal turned into a fast break layup or a pull up three. We see that very often with the New York Knicks. The energy. Jalen Brunson runs down the court, hits a pull up three. The energy goes crazy. I feel like something similar happens in every experience in every level of basketball.
Yeah.
This is something that needs to happen. The Rams need to come out of this half firing on all cylinders, getting their bench involved, their defense aggressive, and I feel like they'll come back and
as you were saying, like if it's someone that you're not expecting, that's going to hype everyone up even more. So I would like to see the bench definitely get more into it.
And the bench will definitely get more into it after the second half.
Let's hope.
I have full belief in watching this Fordham women's basketball team, and the hope that it will come back.
Yeah, I fully agree. The Rams really, again, bringing this back, the free throw shooting. They've missed 7 free throws. That would have given us the lead. They've given the Rams the lead. They were giving them the lead going into the break, and it would have given Coach Bridgette Mitchell a sense of calm and a sense of serenity that they can hold this lead and come out and close it out. Just close out the game.
Definitely. And the free throw shooting, while yes, it has been a struggle for some parts of the year, you need to hit those shots, and those are the big ones that you have to highlight. And if Fordham does not start hitting their free throws, you got to find those points somewhere else. And those are called free throws for a reason, because those are the free points that you should gain.
Yeah, I feel like the Rams can come out and close out the game with a W, and I think that's going to do it for the halftime show here in the Rose Hill Studios. George Fugatakis, Sophia Smith, and Kurt Sipple sending it back to Madi and Tucker in the DMV.
Second half action. Second half action is a go from the Charles E. Smith Arena in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Fordham looking to play catch up, and they are playing hard. Ladies and gentlemen, 27-24 is your current score. And again, you kind of feel that sensation, that tantalization that you have yourself a very, very interesting ball game.
Yeah, Fordham's going to come out of this halftime break with a vengeance, I think. They went on a really good run to end the first half. A great sequence, like we mentioned before the halftime show. And really, I think the only thing the Fordham Rams are going to have to get over in this second half is maybe the sound of the band, because I can barely hear myself think right now. But, oh, there they go. They finally stopped. But the Fordham Rams, you know, they're going to have to do the same thing and keep the band out of their ears somehow in this second half the rest of the way through. But, you know, we saw a much better approach from the Rams in terms of getting after their high percentage looks, low in the paint, still working towards the free throw line. although they need to convert a little bit more from there, it's still good just to be going and to be racking up fouls against the other team because those could come back to bite them down the stretch. Fordham, on the other hand, has done a pretty decent job not fouling. Only one player with 2 fouls in this game for the Rams, and it's Taylor Donaldson. That's the only concerning stat in terms of the fouling for the Fordham Rams. But, I mean, plenty of steals across the board. You look at 5 steals, and the turnover margin now is definitely – it shrank entirely in that last segment of the first half, Madi. The Revolutionaries had an advantage in the turnovers for a long time after Fordham made so many mistakes in that first quarter. But now the turnovers evened up at 8, and you can see that the Fordham Rams are right back in this game. They put themselves in prime position to come out of halftime in this third quarter, punch the Revs right in the jaw, and bring this game home.
Yeah, Fordham trying to come out with that impression, but if you're GW, you have to be satisfied with the way you're playing. And if you're specifically Carolyn McCombs, the head coach of the Revolutionaries, you have to give your squad about an A+. They've played this game as good as you can play it, despite all of the sloppiness. I do say so. You're not getting much from your top scorers, but again, it's been a strength in numbers affair. Gabby Reynolds is going to be back into this game. Second leading scorer, but she leads the team in assists as well. So having her out there with Andrews is certainly to help. Again, you see it, 10 minutes left in third quarter, 27-24. As we begin third quarter play here. Dribble handoff angles to start the initial GW attack. High post touch, back out top to Reynolds. Guarded by Donaldson, 16 left on the shot clock. Back out top to Callisto. Hands it off to Andrews, working on Barry. Sidestep through Murderah, and it's in. The nifty move there by Andrews. 29-24, 9:32 left to go. Revs still lead.
Well, if Michaela Andrews plays like that the rest of the way, Fordham's going to have a very hard time getting back into this game. That Euro was absolutely perfect from Michaela Andrews.
Initial Rams flare screen action is blown up. It's going to be Jay Harris here, dribbling far side wing, near side wing rather. Into the corner, it's going to be Antoine. Puts a shoulder into Engels. Far side wing, it's going to be Kayla Barry's. Her three is going to be no good. And rebound for Callisto. Calling for Reynolds to run the offense. 9 minutes left to go. 29-24. GW still leads. Harris jumps into the passing lane. Ball finds its way to Engels. Inside there for Mott. Callisto puts up the quick fire three, in and out. Antoine with the quick rebound. The Rams still moving in transition. 8:42 left. Hesitates at the three-point line. Kicks out to Donaldson. Wide open three, and it's pure. 27-29. Fordham down the deuce. 8:30 left to go in quarter number 3.
It's a huge three from Taylor Donaldson, and the way she gets hot as a microwave, she can do it all for the Fordham Rams.
Engels beats the Fordham press, but the basket just seems a little too small for her. Whiffs the layup. Antoine's going to come down with the rebound, and Fordham may just have found their pace of play. 8:22 left, 29-27.
I'm not going to lie, Madi. I thought that one was I thought for sure that one was going to go. That's why I stopped mid-sentence. I thought that ball was going in.
Lack of concentration. Any given Sunday, the old adage is it's a game of inches, and if you miss some, you give up some, as the Harris three is up, and it's going to be no good. Engels sniffing the ball out like a hound dog, leaves it up to Reynolds. Reynolds makes her way past the GW script. Working on Harris, quick crossover, but loses a dribble. 7:52 left to go in quarter number 3. Interesting third quarter to start. Gabby Reynolds not able to get the first attempt, but second time appears to be the charm there as she gets it over the contested Taylor Donaldson. Fordham now moving quickly in transition. Not able to get the points off. Quick isolation shot there by Shea Harris is a no good. 31-27, 7:31 left to go in quarter number 3.
And it looks like Shea Harris is going to sit down for a little bit. Emma Wilson-Saltos goes back out there for the Rams.
Donaldson, trigger man, slap of the ball. Finds Nelson as the release. Nelson waiting for anything to materialize. Top of key, Donaldson now dribbling right to left. Attacks with her strong left, hits the ground hard, and the refs blow their whistle there. She's going to have a chance here. Cut the deficit to just a single possession. 31-27 is your current score. 7:21 left in the third quarter.
And a pretty big foul there for I believe Michaela Andrews to pick up. Yeah, it was Michaela Andrews. That's her third of the night now, so watch out for that. Taylor Donaldson at the line, the perfect player for the Fordham Rams right now.
The first one is up, and again, yet another uncharacteristic miss there from Taylor Donaldson. Again, Fordham shooting. Second one is good there by Donaldson. 28-31, a single possession game here in favor of the home team Revs. Gabby Reynolds shakes off Antoine. Top of the key there is going to be Andrews. Engels puts up the three, and that's going to be no good. Back iron as Donaldson gets the rebound. Pushes in transition. 1-on-4, goes up, hits the ground hard.
So they called a block there on the floor.
Blocking foul, yeah.
But Taylor Donaldson, I mean, zero fear whatsoever. She goes in transition, coast to coast, and goes straight into three. Counted four, almost four George Washington defenders. There were four in the area of Taylor
Donaldson. I count
Donaldson
that as four,
went up.
Tucker Austin.
She went up with three bodies against her and a fourth in the area. So all the confidence in the world from Taylor Donaldson going up for that lay.
Donaldson at the free throw line. Hits the first. Back at the free throw line after that quick last trip there. Puts her head down, nothing fancy. Just heads straight to the basket, draws the foul amongst four. Second one is up, and the second one is good. Starting to look more like TD3. That's what they call it back at Rose Hill Gymnasium. 30-31, 6:59. The Revolutionaries hanging on to a single point. Stagnant start for them, not materializing with much offense. Inside to Mott. Working on the smaller Wilson Santos. Turns over the shoulder. Little hook shot is nothing but absolute net. Back up to three, 33-30. Donaldson pushes past the tie line. Waves off Rose Nelson. Nelson is sitting in the corner. Donaldson now moving right to left. Wide open Nelson. Makes a move on Andrews. Kicks out to Antoine. Antoine pump fake at the far side wing. Inside to Murwa. Faces the double. 9 seconds left on the shot clock. Fordham trying to work as fast as possible. Donaldson on Lewis. Puts up the baby hook. No good. Little float, as Andrews pushes in transition. Leaves it up, heads up past her Engels. Retreat dribble there. Top of the key, it's going to be Sarah Lewis. The GW faithful screaming Reynolds' name. Inside to Mott, working on Santos once more. Puts up the shot, puts it up again. 35-30. Revolutionaries bounce back, up 5.
Yeah, that's two tough possessions on the defensive end for the Fordham Rams, back-to-back. There's really not much you can do when you're in the paint with 6-footers, essentially, trying to stop them from scoring. They'll pretty much do what they want.
Yet another turnover there by Fordham. George Washington blowing up that offensive set. Andrews controlling far side wing. Leaves it up for Mott inside. Back out top to Engels. Cross-court pass there to Reynolds. Reynolds, quick fire three in Taylor Donaldson's face. And she gets it to go. And just like that, they retain their lead. Bring it back up to 8. 38-30. 5:10 left to go in quarter number 3. Fordham trying to find some life. Rose Nelson puts the shoulder into Andrews. Donaldson into the corner. Nelson puts up her three. No good there, but Murwa gets the rebound. Antoine, quick move inside. Turns over the shoulder. Dumps inside to Murwa. Good hands there by Engels, and it's going to be an and one. Verena Murwa, she's able to get it over the contest of Maxine Engels. 32-38, Fordham fighting as desperately as they can, down 6. Quick timeout here by the Fordham Rams.
Murwa was being absolutely hounded in the paint with the basketball. She was looking for an outlet at the top of the key, but the ball was nearly stripped away from her. You mentioned good hands. She had the ball nice and low, so when it got stripped away, she still had her hands in the right place to gather the ball again. And immediately after it was tipped away, she had the wherewithal to spin around and instantly go up for the 2, draws the contact, gets the and one, and she's been great from the free throw line. So you like to have her there with the and one play. But still, Fordham down 6 now after a bad run in favor of the Revolutionaries.
Media timeout here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with you on WFUV Sports.
Live from the Big Easy, WFUV Sports has you covered for all things Super Bowl 59.
I'm Will Talent.
And I'm Evan Harkin.
We're two of your Super Bowl 59 beat reporters,
keeping you up to date on all of the events during Radio Row from New Orleans.
Will Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs make history with their third straight Super Bowl victory?
Or will Saquon Barkley and the Eagles soar to their second Super Bowl win in franchise history?
Catch all of the action live from Radio Row on our YouTube page at WFUV Sports.
And follow along for live updates at the big game on Sunday, February 9th.
WFUV Sports, your home for Super Bowl 59 coverage.
And the Charles E. Smith Center, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed jumping, if I do say so myself, as the Revolutionaries, the home team, the home crowd. They have the band playing, they have the fans going crazy, the cheerleaders are out, find themselves up 6, 38-32, 4:44, 8 left to go in quarter number 2. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Madi Dembele, joined here by Tucker Austin. And Tuck again, Fordham, just as they seem to be going on a run, again, here comes the GW wave. They just come back and take control back into Charles E. Smith Center.
Yeah, and I'm a little mesmerized by this cheerleader activity in front of us, Madi. I can't lie. There is a cheerleader walking across essentially the air. There's more cheerleaders beneath her, grabbing her feet as she walks, but she's gone from one baseline across half court, like suspended like 4 feet in the air by her squad mates. It's just a ridiculous show of athleticism and strength. But regardless, George Washington, yes, they went on an incredible run at the end, or right before the media timeout. To Fordham's detriment, unfortunately, they just couldn't size up against those 6-footers in the paint down low. And they weren't making the easy buckets in the first half, Madi. But those easy buckets for GW are starting to fall. And if they continue to fall and Fordham can't sort of readjust their defense, this could get away from the Rams.
Again, GW, you stretched it, Austin, the great positional size that they have. Fordham, we give them credit whenever we talk about the positional size that they have all throughout the roster, whether it be Murwa or Antoine or Nelson. But you look at Andrew, she's tall. You look at Sims, she's about 6'1". Gabby Reynolds herself has size. First shot for Murwa is up, and it's going to be good. Lead now 5 for George Washington, 38-33. As we resume from the media timeout, 4:40 left on the clock. GW past the sideline. Reynolds deep corner there, guarded by Antoine. Sims. Multi-dribble isolation. Veljovic attacks. Lewis puts a shoulder into Rose Nelson. Not able to get it to go. Yet another offensive rebound there for Paige Mott. Sims working once more on Murwa. Gets a shot up, and it's not good. Fordham running in transition now. Donaldson against 2, hits the ground hard. Culprit's going to be Sims there. Kamari Sims, sophomore guard, 6'1", Severn, Maryland. Big physical presence with passing instincts. 24 assists on the season, ties her for second on the team. She's going to get called for that foul there. McCombs keeping fresh legs as Callisto back into the game for Michaela Andrews, leading scorer for the Revolutionaries. Veljovic being the trigger man for the Rams. It's into Donaldson as the release uses the Antoine screen. Back out top to Veljovic. Veljovic working on Callisto. Comes up with nothing. Retreat dribble. Fordham forced to reset. Antoine, near side wing. Inside to Murwa. Murwa puts the shot up, and it's going to be no good short on the front rim. But again, GW has to be kicking with themselves because they are not able to corral the ball. Goes out of bounds. Fordham, we get another opportunity.
Yeah, and that's just Fordham being really tenacious still on the offensive glass, really making it difficult to get defensive rebounds for George Washington.
Veljovic throws out the head fake, then puts up the 3. It's going to be no good there, but quick reflexes by Nelson, gets the ball to Antoine, blocked behind by Sims. And again, yet another pile of humanity. Antoine, Callisto are the culprits right in the middle.
But again, exactly what I was talking about, that tenacity and that ferociousness, I should say, under the basket. You saw Rose Nelson jump over the top of the rebounder and tip the ball out of her hands back into the scrum. And then, like you said, just a pile of humanity under the basket because there's a loose ball. And any player in a maroon Fordham jersey that sees a loose ball under the basket is hitting the floor. They hit the deck. They're going after every loose basketball. And, like, we've seen Taylor Donaldson throwing herself all over the floor today, trying to get after steals and rebounds. So Fordham is still doing a great job at being physical against George Washington and making it difficult for them to really, like, stop Fordham's offensive chances. Because every time Fordham gets that offensive rebound again, you get a reset shot clock, and Fordham just grinds against that defense again. It also throws their offense out of rhythm. So a lot of good things come out of Fordham's play under the basket today.
Yeah, you talk about it, Tuck. And that's that Fordham instinct. And if you look across the statistics all throughout this game, Fordham has made their imprint felt. Despite the fact that they trail in this game by 6, 3:37 left to go in the third, you see the rebounds, you see the offensive rebounds, you see their ability to get to the line. But again, they find themselves falling short and falling behind in this one. As the cheerleader squad is out here. Timeout soon to be wrapped up. Once again, for those just joining us, I'm Madi Dembele, joined here by Tucker Austin on color analysis. 38-33, 3:37 here.
Quick foul update, because I will never stop talking about the foul trouble. Michaela Andrews for George Washington. 4 personal fouls on the night with 3:37 to go in the third. So unless George Washington feels like sitting their second leading scorer on the night for the foreseeable future until the fourth quarter, Michaela Andrews is going to be in danger of sitting for the rest of the game. So this could be a huge opportunity for the Fordham Rams to get such a talented player like Andrews off the court for an extended period. Maybe, this is still only a 5-point game. I feel like we're sitting here and Fordham's in some big hole, but they're 2 possessions away from turning this game on its head.
Right there within the thick of it. And again, it's a strategy that they can look to employ, primarily because of the fact that they've been to the free throw line more than double as the George Washington Revolutionaries. The Revs shooting 6 of 8 from the free throw line. Fordham 9 of 17. So Fordham definitely with the volume, but GW making it count. And again, that is the inches between this game. Fordham leaving a lot at the line tonight. The basket just seems so small for them. Can't convert on the simplest, I won't say simplest, on the point-blank opportunities that they have been gifted. But again, they could continue to play this game. Again, Michaela Andrews, as you said, Tucker, with 4 personal fouls. She's the leading scorer on the season, second tonight. They're definitely going to want her, so she's going to take a seat. Kamari Sims will get a lot of spin as we are soon ready to continue play. Callisto, baseline out of bounds, taking it out. Guarded by Antoine. In to Lewis. Callisto faces the Fordham press. Nelson and Antoine throw the fire at her. Pass the timeline is going to be Lewis. Lewis gets past Nelson, puts the shot up. It's going to be no good, but not before the foul is called there. 38-33, 3:25 here. As the replay shows, Lewis putting a little bit of shoulder into Nelson. Nelson not happy with that one. Antoine's going to take a seat here. Back into the game is going to be Veljovic. Shot is up and shot is good. So suddenly you can hear a pin drop. Sarah Lou is allowed to focus as she converts on her first shot. Second shot is up and second shot is pure. GW now officially at the 40 mark as Fordham trails by 7, 3:20 left to go in quarter number 3. Heads up pass there by Donaldson. Veljovic puts up the 3-point shot. No good there, just few inches off.
Yeah, and the Fordham bench, the coaches were ready to hit a huge celebration on that Veljovic 3, but it just rims out.
Reynolds guarded by Nelson, dribbles right to left, tries to go inside to Sims, but not before she's fouled by Barry. Barry trying to play ball denial defense, get in front of Sims there. A little bit too much contact for the refs. Reset in play, 3 minutes, a little over 3 minutes left to go in quarter number 3. 40-33, Callisto the trigger man, inside to Lewis. Sims top of the key. Bounce pass back out top to Reynolds. Multi-dribble isolation on Veljovic. Out top, Sims, wide open 3, puts it up, and it's good. Kamari Sims, spark player off the bench, 43-33, 2:40,
yeah,
refs lead.
Can't leave 29% from 3 open, Madi.
Miller, you got one.
High post touch for Barry. looking the way of Murwa, goes it alone. Back out top to Nelson. Pump fakes. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Veljovic in the corner, head fake, puts up the shot. No, fakes out. Gives it to Barry. 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Barry has to go it alone.
And just 2 seconds on this shot clock now as Fordham will inbound. It's going to be a bang-bang play here. Inbound and shot.
For the first time in this game, Camilla DePool is going to get some burn for the Fordham Rams. 3 points per game, but she is a lethal shooter from the outside. Buys in defensively, plays for the Puerto Rican national team. She's going to be the trigger man. All the way for Rose Nelson. Nelson gets a shot off, nothing but backcourt. And congrats to the Revolutionaries as they forced a 30-second violation. 43-33, 2:13 left. Reynolds making her way past the GW script. Lewis, dribble handoff action with Reynolds. Far side wing. Inside to Mott. Mott outside to Sims. Sims puts up a second three, and it's good. She's been pure all night, ladies and gentlemen. 46-33, 13-point lead for the Revs. 150 left to go in quarter number 3.
She is red hot right now as Kamari Sims.
Murwa, high poach touch there from about 15. Works on Sims, back out to about 15 for Kayla Berry. Shot is short. And Murwa hits the ground hard. Sims is going to be the culprit on that one. Kamari Sims having herself an excellent game here. 6 games seem to come alive late in this third quarter. Irina Murwa here again at the line. Murwa forward. Graduate forward, 6 foot. Arrasate Spain back to the back threat with footwork and size. As her first shot is up, her first shot is pure. Fordham cutting the deficit to now 12, 134 left to go in quarter number 3.
And she's been great from the free throw line this year, but she's also been excellent from the floor because a 55% field goal percentage, it's actually 6th in the Atlantic 10 this season for Irene Murwa.
Paige Mott holding that finger on that little kerfluffle with the basketball with Kayla Berry. Few substitutions here as Paige Mott's going to take a seat. Into the game is Miriam Jala. McCombs now showing off that size there. Into play is going to be Camilla DePool. Looking inside to Murwa. Murwa faces the double. Back out top to DePool. Fakes a 3, moves inside on Callisto, puts up the layup, and it's good. Camilla DePool in her first sea of action gets Fordham back within 10, 46-36.
Yeah, love to see that from Camilla DePool, a player you don't always see getting on the score sheet for the Fordham Rams, getting it done here against the Revs.
Deep corner, Gabby Reynolds puts up the 3 over Barry, and it's good. Finding their shooting stroke from 3, 49-36. With under a minute left to go, 55 seconds to be exact. Fordham past the tie line. Donaldson out top, controls for the Fordham offense. And it's going to be a steal there. Gabby Reynolds in the passing lanes. Moving like a free safety through the field. Tries to get the pick 6. No good. But again, a foul in transition. GW with yet another opportunity to extend such an extensive lead.
Yeah, and it's going to be a foul against Murwa of the Fordham Rams. Fordham having a lot more fouls, or committing a lot more fouls, I should say, in this second half than they were in the first half. And I mentioned that it was one of the reasons why that they were still close in the game, and now it is starting to slip away just a little bit.
Callisto doesn't think about the 3, puts it up, no good. Saltos comes down with the rebounds, hands off to Nelson. Donaldson retrieves the pass, looks the way of head coach Bridget Mitchell for the play call. 20 seconds left. Fordham's going to hold for potentially the last shot. Rose Nelson thinks about the 3, moves inside on the smaller Reynolds. Murwa faces the double, looks for a release, gets it out to Nelson. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Puts it up, and it's going to be no good. Callisto grabs the rebound. 3 seconds left on the shot. GW going to put up a half-court shot. It's up, and it just rims in and out.
I'm sure you could hear the building's reaction. That one nearly went, and that would have been a stake through the heart.
Kind of took the breath out of me. It was almost up that went in.
Rams.
Kind of looked good there, but 49-36. 10 minutes left to play in this game. GW up 13 points. We're going to kick it back to the studios once more, showing love back to the Bronx. And it's Sophia Smith once more with the scoreboard update from around the sports universe. Sophia, please take it away.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Across the A10 in men's hoops tonight, LaSalle is visiting VCU, where the Explorers are currently tied with the Rams 16-16 with 11:50 remaining in the first half. The St. Louis Billikens are beating the UMass Minutemen 25-20 with 7:17 left in the first half. New York's two NBA teams are in action tonight, with the Knicks tipping off in Toronto against the Raptors and the Nets hosting the Houston Rockets at Barclays Center, both games set for 7:30. And finally, as part of a 14-game slate for the NHL, the New Jersey Devils are in Pittsburgh for a Metropolitan Division matchup. They are currently tied 0-0 with the Penguins with 9:04 left to go in the first period. And the Islanders are looking for a bounce-back win against the Vegas Golden Knights, game set for 7:30 at UBS Arena. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Sophia Smith.
And it's been that kind of night. If you're the George Washington Revolutionary faithful, 49-36, 10 minutes is all that separates yourself from your first win in a very, very long time. Again, GW without a win, going back to that first in tournament play, in conference play against LaSalle. And then you go through what is essentially a rough patch, the roughest of patches.
Yeah, I would say. And I mean, like you mentioned in the Open too, they haven't won a game in this calendar year yet, in 2025. So I mean, they're in pretty damn good position to do it now. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
13-point lead over the Rams with 10 minutes to go, and the Rams have looked like, you know what, the end of the third quarter looked a lot like the entirety of the first quarter.
Yeah.
So, like, if they can make the transition, or if they can make the adjustment from first to second quarter, the same one from first to second, between the third and fourth now, they could claw back into this game, but I hate to say it, it looks like the Rams might be playing to force overtime down the stretch here again for the second game in a row, Madi.
Yeah, Fordham. Exactly that game flow from St. Louis. You need this one just as much as GW. You find yourself in a major hole. As we are soon to be underway, the buzzer rings. Cheerleaders will wrap up here. 49-36 for those just joining. Madi Dembele joined here by Tucker Austin. Gotta say, I love my experience out here in the nation's capital. It was my first time, second time out here. Last time going back to a fifth grade trip. I don't remember that much. I don't think that counts, so I'll count this as my first time.
Did you at least see the monuments when you were in fifth grade?
I did.
All right, there you go.
To tell you the truth, Tucker, I don't remember what I did yesterday. So I'll count this as number one, as we are soon to continue play. Felipe Calista is the trigger man inside to Reynolds. Gets over the 10-second line. Dribble handoff with Sims. Sims over to Lewis. Deep corner, Calista. 49-36, 9:45 left to go in this game. Calista makes a move baseline on Donaldson. Faces a strong double. Salto's there with her hands up. Donaldson confounded by the foul call. She's going to be the culprit there.
I'm not sure if it was her. It may have been Wilson Saltos after all.
Wilson Saltos had her hand straight up there. So silent, you could hear a pin drop. First shot is up and it rims out for Felipe Calista. Junior guard, 6-foot Barra Mozambique. 70% from the free throw line this year. Spark plug with viable offensive attack and shooting ability. 50% from the field. She's second on this team here as she nails the second. GW officially at the big 5-0 mark, 50-36. Fordham in the hole by 14. Camilla DePool moving right to left by the GW logo. Donaldson retreat dribble. Making slow work of Lewis, puts the shot up and it's no good, into the hands of Jala. And here the Revs go. Up a big margin. It's going to be Sarah Lewis. Calista deep corner, guarded by Nelson. Looks off Jala, takes it alone. Left with nothing, picks up her dribble. Sims back inside to Jala. She finally gets the ball. Deep corner, Calista's all alone, and it's pure. Once again, bottom 53-36, 17-point lead here for GW.
And Callisto gets on the scoreboard here in a huge way with the three. That being her first made field goal of the evening.
the pool. Far free throw line extended. Makes a move on Callisto. Tries to get a shot up. That's going to be no good. But Wilson Santos gets the rebound blocked inside there. I believe the culprit's going to be Sims or Callisto. I didn't exactly get the angle.
And it's tough with Coach Bridgette Mitchell standing right in front of us on the play, but
Reynolds, deep corner, guarded by the pool. An absolute dogfight by Santos and Jala down low. As Reynolds sidesteps, takes 2 steps, and gathers the ball for the and one. 55-36. The little through step, drop step. Camila DePool's going to get her hands caught in the cookie jar. Excuse me, it's going to be Wilson Santos once again. And Gabby Reynolds has a chance for the three-point play.
I mean, if you're the Fordham Rams, you got to feel like absolutely nothing can go your way here down the stretch.
At the line, she's been complimentary all game long. Gabby Reynolds gets the three-point play. Freshman guard, 5'9", Holland, Michigan. 10.1 points per game. Scrappy, long limb guard. Great offensive capability. 37 assists. She's the team leader there. Berry puts up the aqua shot over Sims. Ball's going to fly out of bounds here. It's going to stay here with the Fordham Rams. 56-36, 20-point lead here for George Washington. 8:03 left in the fourth.
You know, Madi, maybe we talked too much about Fordham's free throws because it seems like they haven't gone to the stripe in an eternity.
It does appear that way. Kind of get that impression with the game flow. And Mora loses the ball inside. DePool tries to get it back from Reynolds. That's no good. The refs stay with the possession in transition. Reynolds plays keep away with Mora. Sims, one more pass into the corner for Callisto. No good there. Mora grabs the rebound out of the sky.
Need a bucket here if you're the Fordham Rams.
Donaldson quickly in transition. Sets up offense. Calls out for the Antoine screen. Fordham, not sure what they want to do. And Fordham's going to have to call a timeout. Again, lack of offensive identity forces them to go back to the drawing board. 56-36, 7:30 left to go in quarter number 4. And for GW, it's clear skies.
There's not much for us to say anymore, Madi. This game has just gone completely haywire from the perspective of the Fordham Rams. They had control a little bit. They were in the game at the end of the third quarter. You come into the fourth, you're looking at, it's such a tough thing to watch, you know, to watch a game just slowly slip away with some of the same mistakes that we saw happening in the first quarter. You look at the random turnovers trying to set up the offense. Now they're committing a lot of fouls on the defensive end, which weren't even there in the first half. So sending George Washington to the line, and the Revolutionaries also got really stupid hot from three-point land.
Yeah.
In the start of the fourth quarter now. So there's not much you can do if you're the Rams against just a complete onslaught of momentous shift in favor of the Revolutionaries.
And yeah, if you're George Washington, you have to credit the three-point shooting. It's been the secret ingredient here. Just look at the box score, 35.3% from three-point land. So you could consider that scorching, about league average in the big leagues. Fordham just at 21.1. Fordham doing everything that they can. Again, we talked about the rebounding, the defense that they played, only holding George Washington to 56 points. But again, unable to get out of their own way on the offensive end. 36 to 56, 20 is the number for Fordham. You have 7 minutes and 30 seconds left to do it. Crazier things have happened in basketball. We've seen this Fordham team go on stretches of their own. But again, you want to escape that 3-game losing streak because they eventually add up. And if you're going to go on a run, Tucker, the time is now.
Yeah, the time was probably 4 minutes ago, maybe 5 minutes ago. I mean, at this point, it's going to take. I would say 7:30 to go in the fourth, down by 20. It's going to take a miracle. I don't think that's ridiculous to say.
Miracle.
Yeah,
huh.
It really is. It's going to take a complete and utter shift of Fordham's entire just the way they're playing out there right now. They have to switch. Well, not switch anything, but I mean flip a switch, I should say rather. The switch needs to be flipped immediately, and the tenacity needs to come back. Need to get cleaner on the defensive end. And I'm looking at the blocks now too, because blocks have become an issue. 3 blocks for the Revolutionaries, I believe, all in the second half. You've called a couple of them. Fordham has none. And it's not that much of a size issue. Fordham hasn't had an issue getting blocks on larger teams this season, but the turnover margin too. I mean, it's coming back to bite them again. It's 12 for the Rams and 8 for the Revolutionaries. So we'll see how the last 7.5 minutes plays out. Fordham with the ball first, down 20.
A resumption in play is underway here. Barry into the pool. Pushes off on Callisto here. Mora thinks about the 3 on Jala. Pulls it back out. The pool back out top. Inside post touch for Taylor Donaldson. Faces the fire of the Revolutionaries. 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Fordham going to have to go with something. Carissa Antoine's able to get it to go. 56-38 now. 18 points for the Revolutionaries. 7 minutes left to go in the 4th. Pushing past half, Gabby Reynolds faces the double. Stolen by Kayla Berry. Call that one a pick 6. Loses for the release. Camilla DePool loses the dribble momentarily. Back out top. Donaldson doesn't even think about the 3, and it's pure. A quick 5 points for Fordham. 56-41. Fordham now employing the press. Callisto trying to solve the geometry. Kayla Berry comes in like a missile with the steal attempt.
Taylor Donaldson's up to 4 for 7 3-point shooting now today, and I was about to say I want to see more of those from her, but how many more do we honestly need? 4 is like that's enough for a full game already. But Taylor Donaldson seems to be the only person on the Fordham Rams who can knock down a 3-point shot.
Reynolds guarded by DePool, top of the key. Callisto. Wide open shot, it's going to be no good. Donaldson whips it out of the sky, and the Rams stampede in transition. Puts up the quick fire 3 in transition. That's going to be no good. Kamari Sims grabs the rebound, slows it down for the Revolutionaries. 6 minutes, 10 seconds, 56-41. Hands off to Lewis. Into the corner is Reynolds. Sims played an excellent game today working on Antoine. And she's going to get called for the travel. A little bit too much happy feet on that play by Kamari Sims. Ball goes back to Fordham, and they seem to be playing with a new level of life.
Yep, that I don't want to say it yet, but, that switch, they may have looked at it. I don't know if it's been flipped yet, but they're certainly looking at the switch. They know where it is. Well, they just got to flip it at the last second.
Same. Mora, wide open. Fordham letting the 3 balls go. 44-56. Revolutionaries still in the lead, and it's going to be an offensive foul as GW tries to get it over the half-court line. Gabby Reynolds runs over Camila DePool, runs through her. Excuse me.
I believe it's going to be, it's a foul on Fordham.
It's going to be a foul
actually.
on Fordham. Reynolds
against
beats
Camila
DePool to the spot here. And out of bounds here on Callisto. Hounded there by Antoine. 5:40 left to go. 56-44.
We keep saying her name on the defensive end. She's always involved with the turnovers is Carissa Antoine. And another big one here, trying to get Fordham back within 10 points, Madi.
Carolyn McComb sensing the Fordham comeback. Makes substitutions, angles back into the game. Callisto and Sims going to take a seat. Andrews, leading scorer, is back in as well. Curl action for Donaldson. Retreat dribble. Works on Lewis. Mora faces the double. Surveys the court. Looks for the release. Gets Antoine from the free throw line. Antoine puts her shoulder into Reynolds. 5:25 left to go in this one. 56-44. DePool. Step back 3 off of the Mora screen. And it's a bank shot 3. Camilla DePool. Impact player off the bench. 56-47. 5:10 left to go.
Off the glass for 3. When was the last time you saw that in college, Madi?
Reynolds running in transition. Side by side with DePool. Andrews, top of the key. Lewis, guarded by Antoine. 13 seconds on the clock for GW. Reynolds swings it in to Giala, and Giala's not able to get a handle on it. But too much dip on that chip, too much on it. 56-47, 4:45 left to go in the 4th.
You think they heard me, Madi? 9-point game now. Fordham has been on an absolute mission after the timeout.
Mora, another quick 3, and it's good. Irina Murua, you love to see her shoot the 3 ball. That's exactly why. 56-50, 4:30 to go in the 4th quarter. of this game. Losing my words. Gabby Reynolds into Engels. Engels tries to return the three. Nothing but absolute air. Jala tracks it down. Diallo works on Antoine, gets the bucket to go, and gives GW some life. 58-50. Fordham coming back down. Camilla DePool, far free throw line extended. Uses the Antoine screen. Looks for the opening. Threads the pass inside. But not before a foul here. Fordham's going to have a bit of a breather after that quick little run they went on. 58-50, 4:07 left in this game.
It was a great job by the Rams to not foul Gialla under the basket on that easy two.
DePool throws it into the backcourt. It's going to be Taylor Donaldson. Working on Lewis, calls out the play, uses the Murwa screen. And it's going to be a foul here. Sarah Lewis knows she's the culprit. Proverbial my bad. 3:59 there to go. Donaldson sideline out of bounds, guarded by Lewis, acting as the trigger man. Slap of the ball indicates play. Inside to the pool. Guarded by Andrews. Waiting for the Donaldson action. She gets the ball from about 13, puts up the mini float. It's no good, and again, bodies hit the floor for the basketball. Antoine slow to get up. Sarah Lewis the same. And Antoine getting herself and the Rams another possession back. Quick substitutions for both teams. Mott back into the game for Diallo. Rose Nelson in for Antoine.
I think they called a trip, I believe, against Lewis, as Carissa Antoine did trip over her, but she was expecting some kind of a call because Carissa Antoine fell on top of her.
3:49, not 34-49. 3:49 left to go in the fourth. 58-50, Fordham has went on an absolute tear here. Donaldson trying to rub off of Lewis. Curl action as the release. Murwa top of the key, the pool. Quick three, no good. Quick air ball there. Barry and Reynolds on the floor again. And this time the Revolutionaries finally get the ball back. Fordham allocating themselves multiple opportunities to score. They're not able to come up with anything on that play. GW trying to figure out the Fordham press. Gabby Reynolds breaks the geometry, splits through two. Into the deep corner. Engels thinks about the three. Back out top. It's going to be Lewis. 58-50, 3:30 left to go in the fourth.
For GW, this is the time you start to eat some clock.
The Revs taking their time here. Dribble handoff. Andrews goes by the Mott screen. It's going to be a swat of the basketball there by Kayla Barry. 7 seconds left on the shot clock, so the Revolutionaries going to have to move quick, fast, and in a hurry. Gabby Reynolds.
Plenty of disruption from the Fordham Rams, too. The George Washington Revolutionaries have had nothing on offense.
Andrews working on Nelson. Over the contest. And it's going to be no good. The basketball gods do not shine down on George Washington on that possession. And Paige Mott there, gesturing towards the Fordham bench. Mott talking with the officials there.
Fordham bench wants a tech for a gesture by Mott after the play on the other end. She's talking to a referee right now. And
Mott's
she'll step off the floor.
Mott's going to take a seat here in D. So back into the game, Miriam Diallo, freshman forward, 6'1", Heidelberg, Germany. 60% from the field. She's the team leader in that stat category. The pool. Murwa, another three. And it's good. Irina Murwa, ladies and gentlemen. She's been a staple of Fordham's offense all year long, and here she goes. 58-53, Fordham playing with fire. GW trying to keep cool, and it's out of bounds by Reynolds. Fordham kicking in the door. 2:47 left to go. 58-53, excuse me.
What a ridiculous swing, Madi. I mean, we thought George Washington was hot from three. Murwa is scorching from beyond the arc right now.
Irina Murwa currently with 20 points. If I count that, that's 4 threes by her, if I'm not mistaken. Camilla DePool all the way to the basket, puts up the shot. Kayla Barry on the glass, and she's going to get fouled there. And again, strength in numbers, the way this Fordham Rams unit has been playing.
It's out of bounds on Kayla Berry. I think she could have gotten a foul. There was plenty of contact there, but she fell with the ball out of bounds, so it'll be George Washington's ball.
And just to set the record straight, Irina Murua, 4 for 4 from 3. Again, GW trying to get through the Fordham press, and Taylor's going to get called. Taylor Donaldson, going to get called for the foul. She bum rushes Sarah Lewis. 2:30 left to go, 58-53.
And she's got to be careful now. I think that's Taylor Donaldson's fourth, too.
Andrews looking for anything, gets it into Jala, and then Jala wide open with nobody under the basket. It's going to be Engels with the easiest score she'll record all night. Defensive breakdown there by the Fordham Rams. Camilla DePool says different, controlling for the Fordham offense, moving left to right, takes the wide open three, it's up. It's no good, back iron. Fordham fighting for the rebound and in transition. The Revolutionaries get it. DePool's gonna foul in transition. Stop the clock, 2:08, 60-53. Fordham in the hole by 7, GW feeling the fire. And to the line goes Gabby Reynolds, having herself 16 points, along with 7 rebounds.
Things moving a little quickly for the freshman Camilla DePool.
First shot is up for Reynolds. First shot is no good, back iron. So the score will remain 2:08 left in the fourth, 60-53. Revolutionaries still with the lead. Gabby Reynolds blows both at the free throw line. Rose Nelson hauls it in for Fordham. Donaldson, free throw line extended. Donaldson, quick fire three. No good, back iron, but Kayla Berry on the board. Donaldson, second try, no good. But Murua hits the ground hard. Gabby Reynolds not liking that one. You can kind of feel the frustration from the GW Revs with the officiating here.
I mean, I'm feeling frustration from both sides here because you look at George Washington, they've had issues on offense for the past like 5-6 minutes or so, and Fordham just having issues all night. So frustration from both sides here late in the game.
Berry picks up the dribble, leaves it to DePool. DePool back out top to Donaldson, guarded by Lewis. Rose Nelson attacks a smaller Reynolds. Pass a double. Berry puts up a three of her own. No good, just about in and out. And Rose Nelson's going to get another rebound here for Fordham. And the offensive rebounding prowess of the Fordham Rams has pretty much brought them back into this game. If you look at the numbers here, I don't know about you, Tucker Austin, if that reads correctly, but 24 offensive rebounds to the Revolutionaries. 9 second chance points is what dictates most basketball games. And Fordham has given themselves as good as any shot they're going to get all night. Rose Nelson here at the free throw line. Puts the shot up, and again, the right hand bothers her there. Shot a little bit flat there.
Both teams in the bonus now, so all fouls going forward will send either team to the free throw line.
Nelson with her second shot, it's up. It's going to be no good, but again, Kayla Berry tracking it down. Donaldson puts up the three after the timeout is called there. 1:36 left, 60-53.
I don't hate the call of the timeout. Kind of sucks that the three went down after the call, but, you know, still think Fordham needs a second here. This is a hugely, hugely pivotal part of the game. I mean, Fordham was down by 20 in this quarter, Madi, and they have stormed all the way back. They're within 7 points now, 1:36 to go. Both teams in the bonus. Both teams fouling early in the quarter, but now that we've gotten down to the wire, they've cleaned it up a lot. But like you've been saying, there's a lot of frustration on both sides, pretty much both ways with the officiating. It's swung either way as the night has gone on. But as both teams break the huddle here, Fordham will have possession with a chance to get back into, like, I would say back in. They're basically back into the game, but like really get back in. They just have to complete this comeback. They're running out of time with 1:30.
Hate to say I told you so, Tucker Austin. I felt the comeback. It's on. 60-53, 1:36 left to go. Nelson looks away of Boudoir. Up to DePool. DePool skates past through Andrews, but misses the layup. And Fordham able to get hands all over basketball there. GW's going to retain possession there.
No, they're going to the line. Berry wanted, she tried to force the jump ball, but they called her for the foul on the reach. So George Washington's going to go to the line with a 7-point lead here.
Again, moments as such. The pool, excellent play to get to the basket, but just whiffs the layup. It's going to be Miriam Diallo here at the free throw line. First shot is up. First shot is too much. 60-53, 128 left in the fourth.
Free throws turning on the Revolutionaries late.
Diallo with her second shot, it's up, and it's no good. But there she is, Michaela Andrews, leading scorer. Fights for the basketball. Yet another jump ball here. Possession goes up the way of the Ram. Fordham trying to get their offense situated as they take out. A minute 25 left to go in this absolute slugfest. 7-point deficit for the Rams, but it feels like they've made up the difference completely. Barry being the trigger man, inside to the pool. The pool's going to let this one roll up. Pass half court. Quick move on Reynolds. Spin move towards the basket. That's going to be no good. Reynolds able to grab the rebound. Moves past Murua. Working on the pool. And it's going to be a foul here on Camilla DePool. As she gets too much body contact in the airspace of Gabby Reynolds. So yet again, Gabby Reynolds at the free throw line. Whiffed on her last two here. Veljovic coming back into the game for DePool.
And the last handful of free throws have been misses for the Revolutionaries now, Madi.
106 left to go. 60-53. First shot is up. First shot rolls in for the Revolutionaries. They break their cold streak from the free throw line. 61 now, 53. 62, 53, 106 left to go in the fourth. Gabby Reynolds goes 2 for 2 on that trip. Nelson quickly up to Donaldson. Give and go action with TD. Playing hot potato with the basketball, searching for the three-point shot. And Donaldson's gonna get 3 tries at the charity stripe. 57.2 left on the clock. Fordham in the hole by 9, 53-62.
And quite simply need all 3 of these to go, Madi. There's no other way to slice it at this point.
Again for Fordham, perhaps no one better there to go ahead and get you 3 shots. Again, she hit 4 threes earlier today. Having herself a game as usual. Taylor Donaldson with 18 points, 6 total rebounds. 3 fouls, not 4, as you said earlier, Tucker.
Oh, excuse me. 20-23. But her 18 points is above her season average of 17, which ranks 3rd in the Atlantic 10.
Big intermission of play here. So Bridget Mitchell's going to take this as an opportunity to talk
Are they looking at they might be looking at a replay over there. They might be looking at this 3-point foul for a flagrant. It looks pretty aggressive over there on the right wing. It's at least a shooting foul on the 3-point shot.
Yeah.
And it's going to stay a 3-point common foul.
So Donaldson steps up once again at the free throw line. And the GW crowd lets her have it. First shot is up. First shot is good. 54-62 for Fordham. 58.5 left between this point and the end of the game. Second shot is bottom. 55-62.
Need the last one, Madi.
Up and over, and it's good. TD3 gets 3 from the free throw line, 62-56. Cuts the deficit to just a 2-possession game. 58.5 left to go in the fourth.
Yeah, and a timeout here from Caroline McCombs. Wants to talk it over after the 3 ice-cold free throws from Taylor Donaldson. And, the Fordham Rams are still in this game. I was going to say that the way it's played down the stretch, things aren't looking good, but, they had that run. We can't forget about the run, between the Taylor Donaldson threes and the Morwa threes. If they can get Morwa another open look, I wouldn't hate to see her pull another one. Obviously, you never hate to see Donaldson pull one. But you just look at Fordham's stat line. I mean, you've got Donaldson and you've got Morwa, and then nobody else really in terms of the scoring, at least.
Much of the fourth quarter has gone the way of the Ram again. You talked about Irina Morwa coming up hot, 4 for 4 from all the 4 threes she's taken. GW in the old school stack alignment. Andrews into Engels. A quick foul there by Kayla Barry. 57.6 now on the game clock. 62-56. And at the free throw line, she steps up. Maxine Engel, senior forward, 6 foot. Memphis Tennessee, 22.3 minutes per game. Shooter, hustle and grit, tenacity, and presence. 75% from the free throw line. Marks her for 2nd on the team as she gets that one to go. 63-56. 7-point lead for the Revolutionaries.
Box.
Shot is up. Shot rims out. Kayla Berry with yet another rebound. She calls the quick timeout here for Fordham. 56.8 left on the clock. 63-56.
Got to wonder what kind of a play that the Fordham Rams are looking to draw up right now. You imagine it's a Taylor Donaldson open look from somewhere, likely from 3. I can't imagine it would be anything else, unless you use Taylor Donaldson in some sort of a misdirection play to get someone else open. But the way that the Rams have been shooting tonight, who else do you go to other than Morwa? So George Washington has kind of boiled it down to defending 2 Rams players and letting everybody else shoot, and that's been working out for them. Although Camilla DePoole did drill the 1-3, she has 5 points on the night. She at least gives the threat of a 3-pointer. But the rest of the way on the Rams roster, you don't really have consistent 3-point shooting or 3-point shooting at the level that you would afford defense to that.
And if you're the Fordham Rams, you think back to the first game in which you beat the Revolutionaries, and you think of the 4 scores in double figures there. You're looking to replicate that late. Again, the Rams have come up huge in the latter half of this game. Rose Nelson into Morwa. Flare screen action for Donaldson. Puts up the 3. That's going to be no good. And Andrews hits the ground hard.
Oh, my goodness. Caroline McCombs is about 4 feet off the sideline onto the floor right now, complaining that there should have been a foul called on the last play.
63-56 still. 51.2 left on the clock.
And
there's going to be a quick review here to see I would say the level of flagrancy on that foul. So both teams with yet another opportunity, another breather.
Flagrant here would be odd, I think. Just the way that this game has been called. I mean, we've seen plenty of contact, and we haven't had a review for a flagrant yet. The other review was to find out if Taylor Donaldson's fouled, the shot that she was fouled on was a 3-pointer or not if it was a flagrant. But this time, I believe they are looking for a flagrant. And I think it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to overturn because there was no original foul call. We're not upgrading a common foul to a flagrant. We're going from scratch. And I don't think there's precedent really for going from a no call straight to a flagrant. If anything, it might go from nothing to a common, but I doubt we go straight to a flagrant here.
Probably the likely outcome of this one.
I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if we went straight to a flagrant here. And it would hurt. It would hurt bad for the Rams.
It would definitely hurt for the Rams. Again, you have to be proud of the way they've played towards the end of this affair. 63-56. George Washington gearing up to play the long game here. Fordham. For Fordham, it's going to have to be quick scores and fouls.
And so no call after the review.
No call after the review is going to be the final decision. Donaldson into Nelson. Near side wing. Quick to Mora. Quick looks for Fordham. That's going to be the name of the game. Velovic searches out the 3-ball. Puts up the shot. And it's going to be nothing there. Nelson tries to save it, but out of bounds is where the ball flies. 39.7. 56-63.
4 players in the front court for the Fordham Rams as Kayla Berry walks over the half-court line to make it 3 players in the front court on the press.
And GW with absolutely nothing, no release points, so they're going to call the timeout there, save themselves some trouble. 39.7 left on the total game clock. 63-56.
Fordham is just in such a tough spot now, Madi, because we know they can't foul. If they foul, you possibly go to a 3-possession game with under 40. That's a death sentence. And they did a decent job on that play specifically to prevent any opportunities from George Washington, but can they replicate it is the problem. And I don't know, with a full timeout to talk it over and draw up a play, I feel like George Washington can get this ball off the baseline.
Irina Muruwa with 23 tonight. Her season high is 25 against Richmond. That's going back to January 2nd of 2024. So last year, she has an opportunity to not only come back in this basketball game, but to set a new career high. Michaela Andrews gonna say different. She's a trigger man. And once again, old school stack alignment here in collegiate A-10 play. Final 30 seconds here for Fordham. And Kamari Sims is fouled in the backcourt. 36.8 left to go in this one, 63-56.
Have to foul there. There's no other options at this point. Just got to hope that neither of these go. And the way that George Washington's been shooting the free throw late outside of Engel.
Kamari Sims gets that one to go. She's played big time in this game so far. She gets the second one up and the second one to drop. Bringing the scoring total for the Revolutionaries up to 65. Up 9 on the Fordham Rams, 56-36.
Coach Bridget Mitchell rips another timeout here with 36.8. And things have kind of leaked away from the Rams here. 9-point deficit now. Need 3 threes. And damn if they weren't close in there, Madi. They got close. And
still some basketball left to be played.
There's basketball left in this game. They just got to get 3 threes up, and they all got to go.
36.8. Again, Fordham into Coffin by 9. And 2 leading scorers for Fordham. Taylor Donaldson with 21 and 6. Irina Muruwa, 4 big-time threes. She's at 23, 5, and 2. Again, she has a chance to break her mark of 25 against the Richmond Spiders in the game last year.
The Rams have been getting the ball to Taylor Donaldson in good spaces and with space around her. Like, she's been getting decent shots up, but it kind of like she's kind of gone on a bit of a cold stretch here. And like even down to that last play where she was blocked and fouled on that 3 where it sent her to the line. But now the last couple attempts that she's had from 3, the last one airballed. So are we running out of gas? Maybe at this point. I mean, she's been putting the team on her back along with Morwa so far this game. So we'll see what happens. The last 36.8 to go here.
Nelson, Reynolds statue in front of her. Muruwa looks for the quick shot. It's going to be Kayla Berry. She puts up the 3, and it's pure. 65, now 59. Yet another 3-pointer for Fordham falls. 30.9.
That's step 1, Madi.
Fordham halting the Revolutionaries, saying not so fast, still game 2 left to be played. And the Revolutionaries and McCombs, they're going to take a quick timeout here.
A gift for the Fordham Rams. They had no timeouts and were trying to draw up a play without being able to get into a huddle. And then George Washington calls their timeout for some reason. I honestly have no idea why you call the timeout there as George Washington. I get that Fordham just hit the 3, but they have no timeouts left, and they're down by 6. Like, they can't really, like, they have to foul you. And then they have no more time left to try and plan what they're going to do for the rest of, or at least for the rest of the game. So, kind of a confusing timeout call there from the George Washington Revolutionaries and from Caroline McCombs, but fortuitous for the Fordham Rams, who are looking for, that, like I said, that was step 1, 3-ball number 1. They need 2 more, and it barely any time is ticked off. So, like you said, still plenty of basketball left to be played here in the last 30 seconds.
And again, full timeout is soon to be wrapped up. Chairs go on sidelines, players back on court.
Now both teams out of timeouts now, so we're going to play this to the end.
Michaela Andrews inbounding for the Revolutionaries. Donaldson's back guarding her. A quick foul there. It's going to be Kamari Sims as she steps up and tries to put this game further out of the reach of the Rams. 31.1, 65-59.
Sims was perfect in her trip to the line earlier in this quarter.
First shot is up for Sims. First shot, fishbowl treatment. Swirls in and out there. Score remains 65-59. Second one is up. Second one is good. 66-59. Fordham gonna have to play the long game. Taylor Donaldson, pass half court. Murua tries to look for something. Donaldson with the three. In and out, no good. Lewis grabs the rebound, and she's fouled by Nelson. 66-59, 17.8 to go on the clock.
Bridgette Mitchell with the free throws has a chance to draw up a play for her players on the other end of the court. Although they're being, just one player was ushered back to the, two will be ushered back to the paint for the free throws, but the other three will stay here and drop something for the last 17.8.
As silent as a pin drop. Sarah Lewis gets the first to go. 67-59, 17.8 left. Lewis goes 2 for 2 there. 68-59.
Rose Nelson needs help. There's nobody back.
Quarterbacking this one.
Fire it down the
gonna
court.
fling it up to Donaldson. Gets it over everyone. Gets her own rebound. Puts the shot up. No good. Looks for anything. 10 seconds. Now under 5. Barry puts up the 3. No good. And Michaela Andrews is going to escape with the rebound with 2.5 left on the game clock.
Rose Nelson with the intentional foul there with 2.5 left. Down by 9. I think I heard a couple coaches to our right, Madi, saying why, which, understand the sentiment, but.
Andrews with the first shot. Doinks off.
Gotta like the fight to the finish, Can't lay down and die.
Andrews with her second. It's going to be up, and it's going to be good indeed. 69-59, 2.5. Nelson throwing this one deep again. And it's swatted away by Reynolds. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. For the second time in A-10 play in the new year of 2025, the George Washington Revolutionaries give a long kiss goodnight to the visiting Fordham Rams and collect their first win here in 2025. Big time win, big time performance. Complete game from start to finish. That sense of urgency they played with, and it's been a collective effort here by the home team. 69-59, that's all that she wrote.
Well, something was bound to give eventually, Madi. The George Washington Revolutionaries, they had lost 8 straight games in conference play coming into tonight. Fordham, on the other hand, had lost 2 games in a row and were kind of trying to find their footing after a great run of form in January. George Washington was really, like we said before the game, they were grasping at straws, trying to figure out what was going wrong. And this, Madi, I think this just happened to be the day where George Washington finally figured things out. And on the other side, you had a Fordham Rams team that's kind of in the midst of a rut here, where I would almost say that this game was poised for George Washington to get their first win in 2025 because of the way the Rams came in, and because, like we saw in the coaches, or like we heard in the coaches' sound, Fordham's been on the road for basically the entirety of the weekend. They only got the 1 day off after not having been on a road trip for 2 weeks. They come into the building tonight against a team that is like hungry. Hungry is probably not the right word. Desperate for a win is probably a better word for it. And, George Washington, they're in their building, and they wanted it more tonight. So, and Fordham, they put up a fight. They put up a fight in that second half. They came all the way, almost came all the way back. They got within 2 scores of the Revolutionaries. But it also goes back to the thing, like we said, the last game, Fordham had 4 players in double digits. Tonight, it was just Mortua with 23 and Donaldson with 21. Valiant efforts from the 2 of them, but not enough. Not enough from the full team effort to get the win tonight, Madi.
For the first time in this year, as we said before, first calendar win for George Washington. Maybe, perhaps, just maybe this sparks a win for them as they continue through the treacherous path that is A-10 play. And if you're Fordham, it's now a 3-game losing streak. Again, you've been on the road for so long. Next game will be at home against a very, very tough George Mason squad. But maybe the environment of the Rose Thrill, may get you going. That's going to do it here for myself and Tucker Austin from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the Charles E. Smith Center. 69-59 is your final score. The Revs get it done. We're going to kick it back all the way to the Bronx, where George Fugatakis and Sophia Smith take you through the post-game report. Guys, enjoy and take us away.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Welcome back to the Rose Hills Studios. I'm George Fugatakis, joined by Sophia Smith and Kurt Sipple. And unfortunately, the Fordham Rams were defeated by the George Washington Revolutionaries by 10 with a score of 69-59. If you're Coach Bridgette Mitchell, what is the first thing you're saying when you get back to the locker room?
I'm saying that it kind of just looks like the story of the Rams this season. They don't come out strong enough in the first half, fall behind, and then have to put up a fight in the end. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And tonight was evidence that they couldn't do it. They couldn't meet the gap. And if I'm the coach, I'm thinking, how do we fix that going forward? How do we keep the energy going and bring that momentum from the second quarter into the second half?
Kurt?
It's all about hitting shots, and that's the main thing I could say. You can't go into your first quarter, out of your first half hitting 25% of your field goals. It's just not something that you do. Arene Marua today and Taylor Donaldson did their job. Taylor Donaldson had 21 points, and Arene Marua almost had her season high with 23. Her season high, by the way, is 24. So, in that fact, you had 2 of your best scorers at the high clip tonight. Then you had to have everyone else participate, like we said before. DePool had 5 points. Kayla Berry had 3 points. Then you had Shea Harris with 4 and Carissa Anton with 3. You got to have more points from everybody on this roster. You can't make it a 2-person show.
Back up. You have to look at Taylor Donaldson, too. She was 5 for 21 from the field.
It doesn't matter. She still got her points.
She has 21, but it's still on bad shooting.
It doesn't matter. Your best shooter has to shoot the ball. She has the ball in her hand the most. She's the number 1 scorer in the A-10. You got to give her the ball. That's how I feel about it. There's a reason she's number 1 is because she can get those points. Fordham draws the plays for her to take. There's a reason for that because she could score them. And she's doing exactly what she needs to do, and that's hit the points that she needs. She hit her and Arene combined for, I think this is almost less than 10 points were scored by the bench. You can't have that. 12 points. Sorry, I'm not a math major.
15 actually.
Sorry, we're all not math majors.
We're all not math majors. Nope.
But you know what I mean. You gotta have your bench scoring.
Yeah.
And again, yes, you can come back in the fourth quarter like you do against St. Louis. But why be down 20 in the first place?
Exactly.
Why be down 20 to a team that hasn't won a game in 2025?
You just gave them their first win in 2025.
That's the problem. And then you look for the game, 18 for 74 from the field, 24.3% from the field, and then 10 for 35 from 3, 28.6. And the Revolutionaries, they were 43% from the field, 30% from 3. It's basketball. It's simple basketball. Whatever you got to hit your shots.
Yeah.
You're shooting 24% from the field is diabolical. And then 54% from the line. They're free for a reason. Hit your free throws.
There was four Fordham players with no points. Rose Nelson went 0 for 4 on field goals. George Washington had 2 players with 0 points, which
and one of them only played 1 minute.
Exactly. There's a big difference there.
It wasn't a team game today. That's
They
absolutely
spread the
not.
scoring out, and that's what you need if you're going to play. If you're going to be a efficient basketball team, is spread that scoring out, and they just didn't have it today. And I mean, 3-game losing streak in the A-10s right now. We saw that only in the preseason. Fordham was on a 3-game win streak and then came out in the A-10 hot. The schedule doesn't get easier, mind you. This was their game to get right. I said this against St. Louis. This was the game for Fordham to get right. You want to know who's up next? You got, after this game against George Washington, you got George Mason, you got LaSalle, VCU, Duquesne, Dayton, LaSalle, Davidson. Those aren't
That's
easy.
a brutal schedule.
This
Not
kind
easy.
Of, this kind of lackluster play and falling behind is not. It's not good. It cannot continue, and it's not going to.
And it's not good locker room energy when you're down like this,
No.
losing to bad teams. It's really not. You're losing to bad teams. It's gonna bring the morale down, and I'm worried that's gonna translate into future performances. One last question for you guys: what is the number one thing you want to see Fordham improve on apart from field goal percentage next game?
Well, we touched on it a little bit, but just getting everyone involved. I want to see everybody getting points.
I agree, Kurt.
I agree. And getting out to fast starts. Please.
Oh,
just
yes, of course, that
the
too.
best game I've watched from the Fordham women's basketball team this season was when they played Dayton. And when they played Dayton, they got out to like a 14-0 start.
Mm-hmm.
They were hitting every shot they took,
Especially
and I don't expect
against
that.
a team. No, but against a team like George Washington, you should be expecting that.
But I don't expect it against every opponent.
Right.
But you got to show that you have the effort to do it. And if that effort is there, I'm okay with losing. I'm okay with the loss if the effort was put in the entire game. I feel like we were missing the effort for the entire game, and there wasn't a full 48 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
There might have been a full 6.
Yeah, in the end, I mean, they looked like they were getting a little bit more into it at the end, but obviously it was frustrating.
But the cause for that was the third quarter. We came out of the first out of half, and we were down 15 again. Like,
yeah.
It's just not. It's not what we need by any means. And I think that's gonna do it for the Fordham post-game show from the Rose Hill Studios. I'm George Svugatakis, joined by Sophia Smith, Kurt Sippel behind the boards and on the mics, Madi Dembele and Tucker Austin giving play-by-play in color. Bobby Chaffardini is our sports director, and this Fordham women's basketball game on 90.7 FM has been a production of WFUV Sports.